Welcome back, everybody, to Tabletop Notch. This is going to be chapter 43 of A Peek Beneath the Veil.
Crazy.
Last episode was a major turning point as the group successfully escaped the harvesting yard in the Shocky Mountains. Now outside, a little bit downriver, sort of deciding what to do next as they reconvene for the first time. You guys haven't really had a chance even to talk since you guys left. And we'll get right back into it when we start. Is there anything anybody wants to say?
Let's say
Oh, forgot to look up what holiday was.
Rabbit yesterday, which you say on the first of the month to have a good month, so.
It is a long weekend.
We're pushing it now.
It is, I believe, Family Day back home.
Oh. Yeah, tomorrow.
Long weekend tomorrow.
Oh.
Enjoy your
How do you know that?
D&D families.
She just has a calendar with every.
I saw it online that it's kind of like a holiday in Canada.
No, it's like a legit long weekend.
Closed.
Yeah.
So I just.
Well, enjoy your family.
Yes. Your D&D family.
Yeah.
On whatever side of whatever border.
All
And we're
right.
level 4.
What?
And
we're level 4.
Wow.
Big news. Everybody has updated their health, their abilities. Everybody's got some new tricks up their sleeve.
Do I look stronger?
We'll see if those come into play sooner rather than later. Some things, new spells, new abilities, and we'll get right back into it. So without further ado, let's roll that intro. Must be a tense episode. Nobody did the bump for the intro in the room. Everybody's thinking about what they're gonna say.
Oh, shout.
In chapter 42, Close Call Withdrawal. The hunt was on to find Erland a way out that didn't involve sneaking past the guards without a disguise. With Safira and Jillian taking the lead, we first peeked into the silo-like structure that seemed to be related to the maintenance of the Wall of Force. There was a staircase leading up, but it was inaccessible, and the bottom floor had little to offer until a rolled up and presumably discarded painting was found, depicting Master Grimari and an unknown half-orc with blonde hair. Still, there was little time to linger, and the next stop was on the other end of the Riverwalk, where a split hallway offered up several options. The surface shaft sounded the most promising for our needs, but we took a quick detour to the mortuary, hoping that a bit of concrete evidence might be useful, should we seek to recount our findings to any of the local authorities. It was there that Erland discovered a kind of death certificate, bearing the name of Dietrich Lightwhistle, the slain Aasimar of the powerful Lightwhistle family that we discovered some time ago in Brickrock. It was difficult to know exactly what to make of this, but if nothing else, it was a document that strongly suggested that those in positions of power at the harvesting yard had some knowledge of or involvement in the murder that we'd stumbled upon. After mulling this over, we refocused. We tracked down the surface shaft, which gave Erland a perfect spot to wait while Jillian and Safira reacquired the group's belongings. A task that went smoothly, though not without a bit of privacy invasion, as Jillian scoured Erland's notes for anything that might relate to Grimari or the newly heard about Anson Greer. At the edge of the bridge, and under the cover of the traceless band, it seemed to be time for these two to make their escape. But Jillian made a last-minute change of plans, explaining to Safira that after seeing the horrors of the camp, she could not leave without some sabotage to buy us some time. Before the half-elves plunged into the river, however, it was the other three that had gone on ahead, riding the current past the eastern walls and watching the buildings fade into the distance behind them. The aquatic getaway was an effective one, sweeping them out into the mountains without having to pass by any heavily trafficked areas. But the steep sides made it difficult to slow their momentum. Some kind of docking station along the east and west banks came quickly into view, and the slippery rocks sent Orba and Beezaura cascading into a net designed to catch escaped mutants. There was no avoiding a fight here, but the guards were in for a surprise when Orba loosened the lock on a cage containing two of the deformed creatures, sending things into a bit of a free-for-all. Some much-needed support arrived in the form of Safira and Erland floating downstream mid-battle, and with their help, we made sure that none of the men stationed here lived to tell the tale. Together again, as five, after an eventful night of scouting, we took a deep breath, and we asked ourselves, would Jillian be right behind us when she finished with her efforts to cripple the harvesting yard's effectiveness? What could we make of the intel we gathered once we had a moment to compare notes? And without the mission to bind us, are there enough common goals going forward to keep the group together?
Oh my god.
We find out now on Chapter 43 of A Peek Beneath the Veil. Safira, Orba, and Beezaura are perched atop the thin bridge that connects the two platforms of this now defunct loading area. The rushing of the river is now accompanied by loose planks and a couple of limp bodies that lap up against the bars. Though the spurts of electrical energy that hop between the rods of the fence are diminishing in their frequency and potency. Making their way back along the shoreline is Erland and Graven, dripping wet, but washed clean of the blood from their final victim, who floats quickly away and out of sight. Deep into the night, fatigue has begun to set in, but the business of what to do next or where to go must still be attended to. Retracing your steps to your last campsite is a considerable trek, but is the strain of such a hike outweighed by the danger of following whatever nearby roads lead in and out of the Shaki Mountains? Such decisions will shape the coming days and determine whether the information gathered here will reach the ears of those who need to hear it.
I'm not sure I'm quite understanding why Jillian left us to escape and she stayed behind.
I'm not sure I can exactly explain it to you. She told me that she was going to buy us time. So I'm assuming that she's trying to stop them from working as much as she possibly can, interfere with their operations as much as she can for a while, and yeah, she's doing exactly the opposite of what she told us she was going to do, which was what she wanted to do in the first place.
Did she tell you exactly what she was going to do?
Yeah, she told me she was either going to try to go to the room with a transportation circle and see if she couldn't sabotage that, and if she couldn't do that, then she was going to the mycelium fields and trying to, I don't know.
Okay, wait, what is the mycelium field? We didn't see anything like that.
Is this... I hate to interrupt this lovely conversation. Yeah, I hate to interrupt this lovely conversation. Climbing up.
You guys can make your way. I mean, to get back up to the bridge without sort of going through the water and up is through the fence, but the electricity is slowed considerably. It's kind of zzz, and there's like big gaps. It kind of, to wait for it to go by and then hop through is not a difficult task.
I'm sure there'll be a moment where we can rest and discuss what we've all learned, but is on top of this lookout point the exact right place to do it?
Probably not, no.
So are we to go back to where the horses are, Safira, or are we to go? Where are we to go?
But we're to go back to the horses. I mean, we can only wait for her for so long. So she told us if she didn't make it out in a timely manner, which I have no idea if she will, then, you know, we can meet her at McDonough.
Did you try to convince her to stay?
Well, in that moment, I thought I can either fight with her, try to prevent her from leaving, try to, I don't know, what do you want me to do? Should I have attacked her?
No.
Do we think that this camp itself right here is associated with the harvesting yard? Because if we do, relief is coming, and it's
I'm sure it's
a matter of
moving
time.
fast.
Are there any dead bodies of the guys nearby? I can't remember if any of them died on the...
I believe one of them died on the bridge, yes.
Could I sort of
Before.
take a quick look through the body?
Sure.
Just to see if there's... I know that they weren't wearing arming hoods or anything, but just if there's any information, if there's anything.
Nothing on them. I mean, it's entirely possible, but he has nothing on, no belongings on him besides his armor and...
The little hut that they came out of, is there anything in that area?
You can go take a look at it.
Yeah.
It's not right where you are. but
Yeah,
you wanna-
I'll sort of wander over
Sure.
and
Everyone
start.
starts heading in that direction. Anybody else just...
I'm gonna go and get my bag.
Okay. Head back to your bag. You go over to pick it up, and the little sparks are kind of back up for a second, and you grab your stuff.
Graven, was the man that you chased down running toward anything? Any other post or?
There was a few horses. I imagined he was going to set off and warn people that they had been attacked.
Well, at some point soon, someone's not going to show up for a shift, or someone is going to show up for a shift, and they're going to find a body. So,
Truly, we
or
should not linger
bodies.
here. Yes, you're right.
Do we think it matters what the operators of the harvesting yard assume happened here? Are we going to try to influence it in any way?
Those beasts got out. I think that's an explanation enough that things went wrong.
Well, there's arrows in that guy.
Look,
And-
they're gonna know someone was here. We haven't exactly covered our tracks very well.
They're going to know somebody was at the camp as well.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, that's why we have to get the hell out of here.
But we could.
Beezaura, just so you guys know, is still
It's
her.
green.
It didn't wash off in the water. I mean, it's less, but she's stained.
Still green.
Arms and face are stained like a light green.
I think maybe we move from here if we don't mind.
Correct. I'm just wondering if we want to influence their
What? How
the
to?
assumed
Perception of what
motivations.
Do we have time to make
mean-
a sort of plan like that? I think we should.
I
just...
mean, we can at least remove arrows, if nothing else. I mean, we can remove. We can try to make it look as though these things escaped, and I mean, we can buy ourselves maybe a tiny bit of time if we try to stage the scene.
What manner did those beasts attack in? Were they? How did they attack?
One had the weird arm that came up from the ground. I was actually thinking, what if it wasn't?
I was just gonna, for your knowledge, they were like swiping with like claws and like punching with sort of bludgeoning and slashing
Blunt
attacks.
force.
Yeah, blunt force and slashing.
What if it wasn't the mutants that were the cause of the situation, but thieves who wanted the mutants? I have on good authority.
It's getting
that
a little
people-
elaborate. I think
Okay.
that.
You guys are sort of mulling that over
Yeah.
for a second. Erland is heading over to the little cabin. And it's very small. You sort of open up a little wooden door and you head inside. And inside there's, in 3 of the corners, there's 3 bunk beds. So 6 spots to sleep total, 3 bunk beds. And in the one corner that doesn't have a bunk bed, there's a simple wooden cabinet next to a ladder that looks like it leads up to the roof. And Orba saw the guy stationed there up on the roof. Looks like you're able to get up there to, look out.
Okay,
That's all.
nothing like no trunks by the bunk beds. No.
No.
Are they made?
No, they're not.
Okay. Can I take a quick look on the wooden cabinet, make sure there's no traps, and then I want to open it?
Sure. I mean, it will be just a...
If there's nothing like
Make sure there's no
mechanical, if
traps.
there's no
Sure, yeah.
no ink sprays.
You don't. I mean, you wouldn't necessarily know how to check for that, but yes, you don't see anything of that.
Okay,
nature.
then I'm gonna open up the
Sure, you
cabinet.
do. It opens up easily enough, and there are 2 vials of a similar-looking liquid. I think Jillian and Safira were able to identify. It looks like torpor, which was you guys saw in the basement of the harvesting yard. There's some general rations, some dried meat and hardtack that are kind of stored there. A pair of blankets, and there's a key hanging on a hook.
You wanted to find
And then a quiver of arrows and some crossbow bolts. And that's it. It's pretty sparse.
Okay. I'm gonna take the bottles of torpor.
Okay.
Oh, it's the key to the cage.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm done.
Maybe.
And I want to go up the ladder as well.
Sure, you take a peek up. There's nothing up there. There's a little flat
Okay.
roof area that you can scout from. You can look around, but there's nothing up there. There's a little
Alright.
stool there where it looks like the guy might have been sitting, but
Okay, and like under, I want to do a quick check like under any pillows just to see if anyone's hidden any notes or anything.
sure. You have a second here while they're chatting. You do a pretty thorough investigation. It doesn't seem so. It seems like this location's fairly temporary. It doesn't seem like they stay here for extended periods of time. There's no like changes of clothes, nothing like that. I mean,
Right.
it's pretty bare bones.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna head back out then.
Sure.
And from what I remember of the nature of this place, there's not like, it's not a river crossing. It's not like a stream crossing. It is a gate that catches things that come down the river.
What do you mean not a river crossing?
I don't know, like,
It doesn't look like the primary function was to get from one side of the river to the other.
Exactly,
Yes,
yeah.
it was
So-
to catch things that are moving down the
Downriver,
river. Yes,
okay,
that's
so-
what it seemed like.
all right, cool. I like your idea. I'm gonna walk over and find a body that has arrows.
There's
Yeah.
only one body that didn't fall into the river. So I think
Oh.
there's two bodies that are in the river, like batting up against the rails. The one guy that you drowned is floating, and then I think there's just one other. There might be three bodies in the river. I think there's only one body that's on the platforms, and he's
gonna go out,
riddled with some wounds.
take the arrows out of him, throw him in the river, and try to cave his skull in with my mace.
Sure, give me an attack roll with advantage.
Wow.
I'm
Just to
gonna.
see how much damage you do.
Can I go to the ones that are kind of like hitting up against the?
Yeah, I mean,
walk by there?
you'd have to kind of climb down there to get at them.
Okay, I want to get at them and take a look to see sort of how it looks like they died and see if I can't.
Sure,
remedy
one
it.
second. Yeah.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Go ahead and roll for
Oh.
damage.
Jeez. That's when you roll your dirty 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
On a dead
On this
person.
dead.
5 bludgeoning.
So I mean, you bring it down and
Spicy.
you see the little kind of soft crunch of his skull that kind of spurts a little bit. I mean, you make a good stain there on the bridge.
Nice.
I look at Orba like,
I did good.
Good one, Graven.
You go down and take a look. It looks like, based on just the strength of the river, the bodies are kind of like turning over. You don't see any like arrows stuck in them or anything.
Okay.
You see some sort of lacerations and things from possible wounds, but it's pretty. Unless someone dug them out of the river, which they might. I mean, from a distance, you can't really tell how they died. But if you took a really close look,
Okay, Safira's gonna kind of like take a look and then, return back.
Okay.
Look, I don't think. I mean, if you take a close look, I'm sure you'd be able to see that this wasn't,
think-
whatever. But
to do anything more, you'd have to fish them out of the
yeah,
river.
the largest amount of time we're going to buy here is not huge, so
No.
I think what
I
we've
think-
done
Do I
is
see
enough.
them sort of?
Yeah. You
Okay, I want to then, if I sort of come out and see that, I want to. There was a guy that died right by the cage, right?
Yes.
Who had torpor on him.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to go over.
So that was out the other exit.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have walked out. I guess see them trying to stage the area. So I want to go back in. I want to grab the key from the cabinet,
Sure.
and I want to go over to the guy who was carrying the torpor and died.
Yep.
Is that vial still there?
Yeah,
Is
it's
it broken?
on the ground. Yep.
Okay, cool. I then want to go to the cage. How messed up is that lock?
The lock has been shattered. You can kind of hold it up to the remaining pieces. It's totally possible that key fit in there.
But it's a shattered lock. Okay.
The lock is completely shattered. Yeah, it was frozen over and then bashed.
I am-
a number of pieces.
Going to take that key though and put it on, like, in the pocket of the body of the guy that had the
Sure.
torpor vial.
Sure.
Or he would have to. I'm gonna put it in his hand. I'm gonna put it in his hand rather than a pocket.
Sure. You do so.
As he does that ballet, can I go over to the cauldron that holds the thing with the dipping?
Yep.
Can I quickly take out the journal notes that had out of the flask that Beezaura
that I
gave
gave
me,
Yes.
and fill the...
Give me a
Could I use
dexterity check.
mage hand to do it?
Sure.
Ooh.
Yes.
But I don't get demodged.
You don't have to roll for anything.
Okay, so I cast mage hand, I have it
I mean, it
cast.
looks like the mage hand dips into it, but it's unaffected by the effects.
Okay. Oh, okay, so it's done?
Yes.
Okay. And do you want to maybe tilt it and spill it?
The whole cauldron?
I don't know.
It's not that big. It's literally like
If you think so.
Okay, just like a wing.
into the water.
Into the...
It's right there on the edge, like on that platform there.
Can it go on the opposite side, toward the opposite
You
direction?
could pour it on the platform, sure.
Graven's like going from one side
Yeah.
to the other side.
Yes, toward the gate.
All right.
Tip it over and it sloshes out a little bit.
Chaos.
They're going to go over to one of the whistle sticks.
Sure.
Whistle? Chain?
There's a rod, chain, whistle on the end of it.
Rod?
So there's a rod sticking in the ground.
Yeah.
At the top of the rod, again, think like a tether ball thing.
Yeah.
Little, and the chain hangs down, and then there's a whistle at the end of
How
the
long
chain.
and thick is this chain?
Not terribly. It looks like the weak point would be either at the whistle or at the top. Like breaking the chain would be difficult. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you hold on the chain, it might break off the top of the
That's
thing.
what I want to
Give me
try
an
to take one
athletics
of the
check.
whistles. Athletics.
Oh no!
Just leave it.
Don't look at it.
It's not good.
That is... Oh my god!
I saw that
Did you
happen. I feel like I
it was
made that happen
teetering.
with my
Dude,
eyes.
it stayed
It was,
completely
like,
motionless.
there.
Doesn't matter. 7.
7. So as you go to do it, you try to sort of grab it and you pull it and it comes off. It's like tink, but it slips through your hands and the whistle like hits the ground and it looks like it cracked a little bit.
Can I go over to the other? Can I go over to the other one of the
There's
others?
multiple whistles.
And I'm gonna, can I try to get that one?
Sure.
I'm going to march over to the third one.
Which
Sure.
was
That's
it?
just
Next by me,
Athletics.
right?
You can make an athletics as well. You guys are going around getting the whistles. The last whistle is right where Erland is, but the others two are
19.
19. Great. You give it a tink, and you hold it on the end. So you have a chain with the little whistle attached
Yeah.
to the end of it.
And can I try the third one again?
Try the third one again.
Isn't there a third whistle?
What did you just do?
Oh, I didn't roll again.
Oh, yes. You may try
Okay.
the third one. Yeah. Sorry, I thought you rolled for that.
16.
Great. You do so this time. A little more careful to make sure that you don't drop the whistle.
Sort of, I guess, over by Graven then, yeah, if I'm putting the key in the guy's hand.
He took there's 4. So
Oh,
the
there's
4th
four.
one is by you.
Oh.
Yes. So Graven now has one on chain. Beezaura has one. There's a broken one, and there's one near you.
I guess
over
seeing
near the
them,
cage.
I'll get up and sort of wave at them, point at the key, point at the whistle.
Do you want to help?
Should I take one?
If you want, I think we've already made such a mess and they seem useful.
All right. And I'm gonna
Just
try
in
to
case.
pull
Like at
off.
this
Give me
point,
an
fuck
athletics
it. Mess. Take a second to stage the scene. Take the whistles.
18.
18. You do the same thing. Sort of
Like
wrap
it
it
holds
around
on,
your
take
wrist
the
so the
whistle.
whistle dangles and it doesn't break. And you hold off.
All right. So
Are we
after
good
that, I'm
now?
gonna hustle back over to the gate.
Everyone's swinging whistles around.
I know, but I keep forgetting that I am a different color than what I'm supposed to be.
Oh yeah.
We need to make some haste. There are beds inside, but not any sort of overnight clothing or any sort. So I assume some
Someone
sort
else
of
is
guard
in my ship.
change.
Okay, so shall we take the horses?
How many horses were there?
You haven't walked over there yet. You can.
Where didn't I see where the...
He was heading towards there. He didn't get all the way over there, but you can walk over there. It looked like there were like hitching posts. You couldn't really see yet,
Yes.
especially without lack of darkness.
I'll go with Graven. Let's go.
We should all go. We should all leave this place quickly.
Yes.
You guys heading over towards the hitching post.
Yes.
Great. You guys all start to move over in that direction. And you get a little past where Graven drowned the last guard there. And it looks like there's 3 horses tied up. And they're not saddled yet, but there's saddles slung over nearby, sort of a little fence post kind of thing.
I'll go straight for one of the saddles.
Great.
Yeah.
Start
Yeah.
hitching them.
I'll start.
You guys are able to do so. It takes a second. Hitch up and sort of saddle up the horse. So you have 3 horses available to you. There is also one sort of to the side, on the other side of the horses. There is a small wooden cart that looks like it could be hooked up to a single horse. It's like just 2 wheels with a little sort of little tongue sticking out that you could hook up to a horse. And it doesn't seem meant for riding in, but theoretically someone could sit in it if you attach it. But
And there's nothing in it.
there's nothing in it now. It looks like it's transporting back and forth between them.
Is it worth putting the marked one in the back, covered by a blanket or something, in case we come upon somebody?
Their blankets.
There was blankets in the cabin.
Or a bedroll or something.
I think that's otherwise, I mean, she's green.
It's going to take some time to hitch this to a horse, though.
Sorry, I mean you're green.
I understand.
She understands. She's not happy about it.
I feel like we're back to day one.
Hitch this to a horse?
I shouldn't.
Also, if we hook up If we hook up a cart to one of the horses, it will be significantly less mobile.
And we'll have to stay to the paths, yes.
And I think we want to get off the paths.
Yes.
All right.
Safira, do you have any idea where we're to go now?
I mean, I can start moving us towards McMoo. I mean,
What about where we hitched our other horses? That little campsite.
I can probably navigate back.
I say we do that first.
We should at least try to get there. If that
For
is
night.
indeed where Jillian said she was to meet us.
Okay.
So we're leaving the what's it called, the cart?
Little cart. Yeah.
Are we leaving the cart behind or shy?
I believe we're
It's too
leaving it.
much. Yes.
There was some rations and arrows in the cabin. I don't know if that's of use, but we might want to leave.
I mean, the thing is, the beasts likely wouldn't steal things like that. I mean, we've left such a mess. I don't know why I'm trying.
I think we
I
just
think
leave.
we
need
have
to go.
enough.
We need to leave quickly.
3 horses, Graven, you want your own, I'm assuming?
Sure.
Does anyone want to ride with me?
I don't mind.
Alright. You guys settle in? I need everybody to give me survival checks. And
Oh,
Safira with advantage. Given her mountainous favorite
thank God.
terrain.
Still bad.
Sorry, we don't have advantage. Just her.
Just
Wow,
Safira.
what the hell?
Survival.
Oh my goody God.
Oh no, it's a minus.
Wow, I didn't help us at all. You guys, I'm sorry we're not surviving.
13.
15.
10.
9.
With advantage.
Y'all.
Orba's leading the way.
The wizard rolled the best survival
I
check.
think all that
I
green,
know,
I think that green ink is seeping into my brain.
Safira's years of military experience out the window. Tiefling does.
Not today. Does not know.
So you guys saddle up and you begin to ride out in the direction you're sort of estimating because you don't want to go obviously back through the camp and then back out the way you came, so you're sort of heading on a diagonal toward the general direction. You guys begin to ride.
Sorry, are we getting to like morning just about at this point?
No, it's like late in the night. It's
Late
like
in the night.
2 in the morning, 3 in the morning.
And we slept last night, right? We haven't been up for. This would be the first night if we stayed up all
If
night.
you stayed up, this would be the first night you've stayed up through. Yes.
Yeah.
Got it. Sorry. Yep.
The longest day in the world.
Yeah.
So you guys begin to ride. And given that you don't know exactly where you're going, you aren't quite able to identify a few of the natural landmarks that might sort of guide your way. It takes you a little longer than you might hope. You all suffer a point of exhaustion as you're trying to do this. Everyone just mark that you have a point of exhaustion. You have disadvantage on ability rolls, not attack rolls or saving throws, just ability like skill checks. Disadvantage.
Where do you want to mark it? Just
Anywhere that's convenient for you.
So it means disadvantage on.
Just ability rolls, any skill checks, ability rolls, not attack rolls or.
Then we made
Saving
those
throw.
survival rolls.
You know, listen.
Exhausted.
I tried.
It takes a little bit of time, but you do reach a familiar-looking forest. Mostly branchless trunks. Good portions of the roots are kind of partially above ground. You remember having to guide the horses kind of carefully around these, moving slowly. Jillian having sort of led you to this area very quickly and then kind of pulling up and carefully ascending. And the terrain is sloped very heavily. It's like almost on a sort of tilted angle. And you contend with this sort of significant incline, and it looks like the horses are sort of struggling a little bit to make their way, but you slow it down, take your time, again, sort of deep into the night, a couple of hours to make it here. And finally, you see an area with a little fallen log jammed between 2 tree trunks, and a rocky outcropping that has this kind of sort of L shape-ish that looks fairly familiar to you, finally able to identify something that you recognize. You look around, though, as you're approaching it, you don't see any horses. You guys are sort of moving slowly through this terrain. You spot this sort of area that you think is the right area. We'll say, given the highest roll, say that Orba was the first one to sort of see the spot that looks like it where you were, although you do not see the horses there.
Well, I believe this is the location, but anything we have left behind, I'm afraid, is gone.
Stop. Everyone stop.
What?
I don't know. It could have been that Jillian has been here already, but it could be that
I seriously
somebody.
doubt that.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that it could somebody else might have discovered our camp.
Yeah, Yes, it
could
appears
be.
that way. I don't think the horse is just, I don't know, fucked off.
Is there any? Are there any tracks, Safira? Is there any sight of?
Can I try
Give me a
to-
survival check. It would normally be with advantage, but just straight this time. Yep.
21.
21. You dismount from the horse and you start to sort of kick around some of the leaves and sticks and things. There isn't a ton of terrain that looks like it would make a significant imprint or anything. However, you do see a number of horse hooves because of their sort of weight, even in this sort of hard soil. And they're very sort of erratic and widely dispersed. It doesn't seem like they sort of calmly trotted away. It seems like maybe they were spooked. You see a number of kind of displaced hoof marks kind of around the camps. It looks like maybe someone surprised them or approached them sort of in that
Okay.
way.
And if I keep sort of looking around the area, if I see the horse sort of tracks, do I see any tracks around of what might have scared them? Do I see anything like...
Give me a perception check.
While she
With
looks around,
disadvantage.
can Orba just cast Detect Magic?
You can. Is this ritually or
Spell slot.
my perception... my perception has changed! 12!
Congratulations on your new +1 perception. So you start to look, and Orba, you cast it right away. Sorry, not
Yes.
ritually. Great. And so as Safira is looking around, you're sort of watching and looking as Safira is kind of poking around, looking for the tracks. And you see a little bit of a glow. It looks like something above her.
Oh no.
And Safira, you have this kind of sense of a stale air about you. Cold, and it seems kind of breezeless even though you can see kind of leaves and rustling around you. And you suddenly have this feeling that you're being watched.
Can I...
Safira's ahead of you.
Oh, I thought I was behind her.
No,
Okay.
she's dismounted and has been looking around.
Okay.
And you suddenly have this feeling that you're being watched, but not that feeling of something kind of stalking you or like hiding from a distance keeping track. The feeling of something wanting you to know that you're being watched. And it feels like it's coming from above you. And you can't see exactly what it is, but through the sort of leaves and the brush, you can see kind of a dim glow that looks like it's above where the camp is, which is now very close to right.
Can I tell what school of magic it is, just out of curiosity?
Yes, you may. One
Fuck
second.
up magic.
Oh, yes, I missed that one of my courses.
It's the School of Necromancy.
Oh, okay. Orba's gonna dismount. And
Do you look up?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you mean? You just told me it felt like it was coming
Yep.
from above me. I'm not gonna be
So
like...
you do.
I guess as she looks up, Safira!
You hear Orba, but you look up and see the dim glow of a dozen or so sort of orange-red orbs, like suspended fireflies, not moving.
shit.
And they seem to be paired up. And around them, with your dark vision, you're able to see that there's skulls and partial skeletal torsos ingrained into the canopy of the trees. No arms and no legs, but the ribs kind of curl around the branches and fold into each other, like fingers kind of folding over, gripping the branches. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, good thing I just upped my wisdom. Oh no, not a very good thing though. Well, it's 10.
You look up, and the eyes sort of begin to pulse back and forth, kind of inconsistently, not synced up with one another. And you look into them, and you feel like you heard Orba's voice, and you move to kind of turn to look back towards Orba, but you can't do so. And you stay locked with the bulbs above you. You are paralyzed currently, and you cannot move or speak.
Have we noticed
Yeah,
this?
you can see this happening. I mean, definitely Orba and Erland with their dark vision can see this.
I'm gonna get off the horse
Sure,
and go over to her.
sure, you do so.
Don't touch her!
I wasn't going to.
Don't look up.
She's under the influence of something up there. Orba, can you tell what it is?
It's some kind of necromancy. I can't get a close look. I don't want to look at it.
Can we move her? Do you know if we can touch her?
What?
Make an Arcana check.
Oh, and I just upped that too. Oh, wait, disadvantage?
Yeah.
Why'd I say that?
I mean,
6. 12?
You don't know what this spell is? It's unfamiliar to you.
I do not know.
Safira, can you hear me?
It's a...
She can't respond. She doesn't move. She can't respond.
Do you want me to just try to touch her with something else other than my physical hand?
Tiefling, is it a spell? Is it a creature? Is there someone nearby creating a spell?
I don't know.
She knows it's magical in nature. She can't tell.
Can I use my dark vision, not looking up, but look around to see if I can see a spellcaster?
Give me a
or
perception
person?
check with disadvantage.
Okay. Oh, something. Perception? 14.
14. You take a look around. You certainly don't see any other creatures, as far as you can tell.
Nothing of note in terms of disturbances?
How close is the canopy of trees above?
Say that again?
How close is the canopies of trees?
Like the eyes, the
Yeah,
skulls, and
yeah.
It's probably like 25 feet above,
Keep
25 feet above her.
How do we... What do we do with her?
If you want to try and touch her, go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna take one of the
I'm going to take a step back so I'm not directly under.
Safira just.
I'm gonna take a glove out of my.
Oh my god!
I just want to.
Safira.
I don't want to do anything that could possibly hurt her or anything like that. So just something like
Sure.
that.
Well, I'm
and I'm
okay.
just gonna like just hold on to the end of it because it's one of the big gloves from like.
It goes all the way up to your elbow, yep.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna hold on to the end of it and then like.
I'm gonna hold. I'm gonna get as close as I can to the both of them, and I'm gonna hold Channel Divinity as an action if anything happens.
Whoa.
Anything that's too vague.
Not
anything
anything.
happens. Then you cast it because something happens.
Damn it. If I.
It's gotta be pretty specific.
If what?
If I hear something come down from above.
Okay. If something drops down from above.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
Oh god. What if
Just
it's
gonna
So I'm
kind of
just gonna take the
concentrate.
glove and just like lightly tap her on the arm.
You do so.
Safira.
And you can see that she's like, it's almost like tense muscles. Like you can see she's breathing. She's not like completely void of. She's just like.
If I put
She, like,
my
can't avert her gaze.
So,
or-
and then I'm gonna see if I saw her shift a little bit. So maybe if her gaze, like I'm thinking like, maybe if her gaze breaks,
I'm gonna take my
I'm
shield.
gonna take the. I was just.
Bizarre's already
I'm
doing
gonna
something.
take
Go
the
ahead.
glove and just literally. She's not gonna hurt. I'm just gonna smack her with it just to see if it
How hard do you smack her?
enough to push her down to the ground.
what with the glove?
Well, I want to break your gaze with the top.
Give me a shove action, which is give me an athletics check and give it with it would be with advantage, but just a straight one because of the exhaust.
Athletics check?
Yep.
17.
17, great. You sort of take the glove and you give her a push, and she sort of moves and falls flat on the ground.
I'm gonna
That
take
didn't
my
work.
shield and like hold it over her head to break whatever her eye line is.
When she
above.
got pushed, she broke her eye contact.
Oh.
From
And
what
she's
was
still
above her.
like stiff. Is there anything?
I'm gonna start. I took a step away while they're doing that. I want to start. Are they emitting like a literal glow, or is it just a sort of magical glow that Orba saw?
You can't tell that because you haven't looked up.
No, but I mean, like, so there's no like glowing. It's not bright enough that it's like glowing red on the ground. Or
If
anything
it
like
is,
that.
if it is actually glowing, it's not emitting that much light.
Okay.
Yes.
Just so then, from a little bit from Safira, let's call it let's say a 15-foot radius. I just want to start making a circle around and searching the area to see if I can see if there's anyone casting a spell or if there's any mechanism that's creating the spell.
Okay, I mean, I'll honestly lump that in with your last perception. 15 feet is not a big radius.
Yeah.
You can see around and you do not see anything new that you didn't see before.
I guess Orba's gonna take out her dagger and go over and nick Safira.
Okay, give me an attack roll with advantage.
With my dagger. 16.
Hits.
Over
Okay.
damage.
D4 plus 1. Don't worry, guys. I'm the wizard. 4?
Orba goes over and she, sort of imprecise, not as deft with a dagger as she'd hope, draws a bit of blood, and Safira snaps out of her paralysis.
You turn her to kind of lay and face away from them.
And I kind of instantly want to
Did you
look
mark
up
the
and-
damage there, by the way?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, great.
Smart.
What did you feel? Did you hear anything? Did anyone speak to you?
No voices, just
I'm gonna run back, hearing that they're away.
They're a bunch of glowing red skulls that seem to be part of the canopy of the tree. I don't know, it's obviously some kind of trap. So, I mean, is anyone, and I'm kind of looking around, it's a trap. Someone put this here, I'm presuming, because they saw horses and they wanted to know who was coming back for them, and I don't know where they are, but...
I've searched the immediate area. There's no one here. We'd have to spread out a little wider if we want to dispel this.
I think we leave this
I
place.
think we just go.
I think we leave.
Jillian's gonna come back here.
Is she though, Erland?
Yes, allegedly.
We can leave some
Right.
sort of message then. Carve it into the tree.
But then
Well, if we
whoever
should
would come
leave any
back
message
will
for
know
her, we
that.
should leave a message for her somewhere back further where we think she might read it, but she shouldn't, we don't
You
want
mean
her
cut
to
her
come
off
here.
before she reaches here
Yes.
from the camp?
Yes, I think she should take a different route, obviously, because we don't want her coming through whatever the hell this is.
Is it quiet enough that someone over 15 feet away would be able to hear this conversation?
It's pretty quiet here. I mean, you guys are I'll assume you're talking in hushed tones, but I mean, if someone was in the reasonable vicinity, they might hear you.
I think we need to search the immediate area. If we've been seen and we head back to town, we will be marked, and we cannot be caught back in town.
But Erland, if we've been seen, people are heading here. I have a feeling that this is probably from the Black Lions and their necromancers. So
Potentially, but
you want to just wait here and see
no,
if...
I think we need to search the area quickly to make sure no one is watching us right now.
No,
What
I
is the
think
point
if
of
they're
that?
watching us,
So that
they're
if
watching...
we head back into town, we will not be seen, we will not be arrested, we will not be discovered.
But the Black Lions...
What is your
presence-
suggestion? Where do you want to go? How far?
30 feet, 40 feet in either direction.
Okay,
40.
Right.
fine.
I think it's a waste of time.
We cannot be caught. We're not
Go in
out of
two
the
groups.
woods.
One of you, somebody with dark vision, I'll go. Somebody with dark vision, she. Let's go.
Okay.
Two directions. 40 feet.
Fine, I'll go with
Radius.
Beezaura.
Opposite direction?
Just a radius, a
Yeah.
circle around.
So
Who's going with it?
I'm going with Beezaura.
I'm going with Orba.
Okay. And the other three?
And I guess
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
gonna
go with yeah.
Yeah.
you do so.
What?
You guys came from the east, sort of hitting this point. You can basically go in a direction that you haven't gone before, would be either north, south, or west.
Make
Which
it
way?
a peace sign. So if we came
Sure,
in from the
someone's
east,
going northwest and someone's going southwest?
Yeah.
Who's going where?
Southwest?
Southwest. Great. You guys split up a little bit. I need perception checks with disadvantage for everybody.
Orba's gonna mutter to Beezaura, this is pointless.
So stupid.
Not bad.
So annoying
Not
that
bad.
we're doing this.
Could have been worse.
Oh no.
11.
14.
13.
7.
3.
So you guys start to move through, just kind of peeking around. There's a number of sort of trunks and trees and sort of rocky outcroppings. Sort of take a peek behind them, take a look around. You don't see anything for a little while. And Orba and Beezaura, kind of muttering to themselves, hear something very quiet.
Do I still have Detect Magic up?
You do. And all of a sudden, out from behind kind of a tree trunk, you see a face peer out. A rail-thin man, well camouflaged, sort of twigs woven through his hair and skin caked with dirt. Along his legs is like this exoskeleton of bones. He has bones kind of strapped up to his legs, femurs and tibias tied tight against his skin. His hands are tattooed black. And one of those hands, as he emerges from behind, he holds it up. And there's a little bone in his hand, and at the end of the bone, there's a skull attached to the end, with a very, very dim orange glow, not yet fully formed in its eye sockets. And he holds it up. And he gets closer. Lakafuyu, or harvesting yard.
Harvesting yard.
Prove it.
I take out the gloves and like the garb of the harvesting yard.
What specifically do you take out?
Take out a pair of gloves. And a pair of boots. And
Oh, I have a harvesting hood. I'll take one out.
You have one of the arming hoods, the blue
Yeah.
arming hoods. You guys go take gloves, boots, arming hood. He looks up. you hunting? Go. And you can hear a little bit of rustling as it seems like he disappears back through the brush.
Go back.
Make your way back.
Great idea.
Oh my god.
You guys head back to kind of where the camp was, kind of. I mean, they've gone off. You guys don't find anything. It takes you. You go out to 40 feet, 50 feet, and
Circle back, yeah.
sure, you do so. You find that Orba and Beezaura have gotten there before you.
Well,
We need to go now.
what happened?
Don't get too quiet. Don't get too quiet,
We
everybody.
need to go now.
Did you find someone?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, a member of the Black Lion tribe was prowling the area. They are searching for Lakafuyu. Luckily, we had arming hoods, so we pretended we were from the camp. So,
Let's go.
buddy system, whoever's got the arming hood.
Is I don't want to look up. Is the magic dispelled, Tiefling?
No. I mean, I'll like.
I imagine it's
Through the
theirs.
brush and stuff, you can see that the glow is still there.
Yeah, no.
We need to in some way let Jillian know not to come here. We can't leave her paralyzed.
But
here.
if we want to make a camp somewhere between the camp and here, that's how we meet Jillian before she reaches this location.
all right.
There's no way to know that she's going to take the same path as us.
Or
But we
come
do
at
need to
all.
rest for the evening
We
anyways.
do.
So,
Do we rest here then if this person is left and knows we're not threats?
No.
no.
The Lakafuyu are coming here.
Yes,
They are?
Yes, they're hunting for Lakafuyu. That's the whole reason.
Well, why would Lakafuyu be angry at us?
They're not angry at
doesn't
us.
matter.
They think any person that they see, they're going to assume is Lakafuyu.
The
Unless there's...
fact is, if Jillian's traveling by herself and gets paralyzed, we're never going to see her again.
That's where we're going to make a camp before she would reach this location.
I agree with Orba.
You'd like to try to destroy this?
No, I have no, but as you make the good point, Goliath, that we don't know which way she's going to come back.
No, we do not.
And if she's by herself, she won't have someone to stab her like we had for Safira.
Well, then what is your suggestion?
That's her.
Why not camp here?
No.
I can think of 1,000 reasons why
Erland,
not.
we're not doing that.
Well, then how do we protect Jillian?
She's
We
not here to
dismantle
protect
this.
us.
All right, then how do we dismantle
If
this?
we dismantle it, they'll know.
Is there a way for us to warn her? Somehow, any spell we could cast, any
If
markings
we have a
could
piece of
put up?
parchment, we can post it up on a tree from in between here and where we left.
If the horses didn't last, a piece of parchment won't last here.
Okay, you know what? The more we argue, the more I'm agreeing with Erland. Maybe the safest place is to stay here, have anybody who is keeping watch wear an arming hood, make it known that we are members of the camp and not Lakafuyu and no threat.
We have to...
How long do you think they're going to buy the story of
How long
the
do-
Myconid workers basically camping for no reason outside in the middle of the forest? How long do
They
you
don't
think we
seem
get
to
away
care
with
that
that?
we're out here in
Since
general.
they think that we are.
Right, but once word gets to the Black Lions that there's been some kind of intruders at the Myconid camp, they're gonna be. Who do you think is gonna be paid for our heads? It's gonna be them.
And how long is long enough to wait for Jillian?
I think we should destroy this. I think Erland's right and that we should dismantle this somehow.
And then not camp here.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, then that means that we have to find the man that you found and kill him.
Does it? Can't we?
It's someone's magic. Do you know how
Unless
to
they can
dismantle
do it themselves.
I'm not able to dispel magic. We could try and, brutalize the thing and see if it is destroyed that way, but I'm not familiar with how this spell operates. I don't know how to end it. So,
If we don't look up, is there any danger in staying here, Tiefling?
I do believe that it serves almost as like a seeing eye. I think it's possible that they can see us if we are under it.
I don't like that.
Exactly.
That's what I've been saying, Erland.
I'm sorry, Halfling. Do you care about seeing Jillian again? Oh, that's very telling.
She doesn't. Of course she doesn't.
I mean, what does Jillian have for me anymore? Really?
Other than
Why are you
safe
here,
passage
then?
home.
Leave now. You're free to leave. We scouted the camp.
If she's coming back, I'll wait. But we have no guarantee, and she left us.
To be fair, she's right. Jillian went off on her own. That was her decision.
She still owes me something. I'm not going anywhere.
Fuck's sake.
Orba,
What?
do you think if I hit this thing with some divine light that it could do anything?
We could certainly try.
Everyone step back. I'm gonna look up at it and try to target it.
Okay, with what?
Sacred Flame.
With Sacred Flame.
My goodness.
You are able to target it as it targets things through cover. So even though you look through a number of trees, you have a good idea of where it is. Go ahead and it's a
It's
saving
a
The hell?
dexterity saving throw.
Jillian's.
throw. 9.
Fails.
You see a little blast of light, and Orba still with her. How long is the duration of that?
10 minutes?
10 minutes.
Yeah.
You can't tell actually. Never mind. It's been longer than 10
tasty.
minutes.
I know it's gonna be tasty.
You see the light
I mean,
strike,
11
and you have a
minutes.
decent idea that you feel like you were pretty on target.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a way to confirm that without Orba's detection available to you.
I can cast it immediately again. You want me to?
I mean,
We're about to snooze.
Are we?
Yeah.
Actually,
Are we?
see if that did anything. If there's any more around.
I cast it again.
Yes, again, not ritually.
Correct.
Yeah, great. Orba takes a moment, focuses, and she looks in the direction of it. No more glow coming from between the leaves.
Good work. Good job.
And you hear a little and falling onto the ground looks like a skeletal torso and head has sort of collapsed down out of the trees.
Ugh.
Well,
That's
now that
insane.
it's done, we should go.
I thought we dismantled this so that we could
So
sleep
that we
here.
can sleep here.
I thought so. Jillian would get caught in it.
It's, I guess a
We
little bit of both.
keep watches and
Okay,
rest.
get your bedrolls.
Do we need to bury this fellow in order to not have it rise again? I don't know how necromancy works.
I think it's fine unless another necromancer comes around. But
I'm
if it
detecting.
would make you feel better, I'll help you.
I didn't like that look.
Yeah, no.
Where he was like,
Everyone's like,
God damn it.
like, maybe you do.
I mean, you're not familiar with the spell, so you don't know exactly, but again, it's not emitting magic, you can tell that.
I'm detecting no magical presence. Whoever wants to take first watch, if they are feeling the incentive to do so, they can go ahead and bury it.
I mean, maybe just for safety. Sure, there might not be a necromancer here now.
Take
but
my shield and just start kunk into the dirt and like kunk, making a
Safira starts just helping him.
digging
To bury it.
To bury it,
Great.
yeah.
I mean,
I
it takes
start.
you 20 minutes, or it's kind of hard earth, and there's a lot of roots, but you do a decent enough job. You're able
every
to,
couple of.
I'm helping you.
Yeah, so if you're helps. I mean, you do so. There's no check required. It takes a moment, but you do so.
Do we need to say a prayer, or does this constitute a proper burial?
Say what you like.
I
Turn around and leave.
You're making it sound like I set the trap and did all this.
Oh my goodness.
I kind of kneel once we have the thing buried and kind of do, like close my eyes for a minute.
Orba will do so too.
Pay a little respect.
Yep, sure. Pray to Aya.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gross. Decidedly gross.
I go off to the side and just start cleaning my shield off.
So are you guys setting up? Sorry, yeah, were you not?
No,
So are we staying here?
yes.
Yes.
Here's an arming hood. Anyone who's keeping watch, either have it on or right next to you.
I think have it nearby just in case Lakafuyu does come by. We want to be able to display that we're a part of it, but not be immediately identified as part of it.
Okay.
Lakafuyu would be terrible if they came by. If the Black Lions come by, we show them the hood.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yes.
Okay.
All right. Who's taking first watch?
I'll take first watch.
I'll do second.
I'll do
Guys
third.
start to-
Okay, fourth.
I'll take the last watch.
Guys start to unpack your bedrolls just to find a little spot here as best you can. A little niche. Everybody go ahead and roll for me at once. Disadvantage.
Perception, right?
Perception with this.
Oh.
Even as the last watch, I still have
God damn it.
disadvantage?
No,
Because I love
yours
slept.
will be. Yours will be.
Does that
I rolled a
perception?
19 and then a 6. Or well, rather, just one would have been a
We're
dirty 12 or something.
7.
6.
10.
6.
17.
God.
Oh man,
Rip.
I'm not feeling good about that.
Nope.
Do I use the alarm spell scroll?
Yeah.
Oh,
What watch are you?
3rd. But I guess we already.
Yeah, this was
did that,
late.
yeah.
That's got to be
Yeah.
preemptive.
Because she can't do
If
it
you were
during
first
her
watch, I would
Yeah.
say maybe, but
Okay, go ahead.
Damn.
Continue fucking us.
Yeah.
You ruining.
it's during Beezaura's watch.
No.
Was that first or second?
Second watch.
Good job.
Then you hear a little bit of footsteps through the woods. No light emitting. And it doesn't sound like anyone on horseback or any kind of vehicle or anything, just someone on foot. And then you hear a little, and you can't quite see them without dark vision. You guys haven't lit a campfire, I'm assuming. You hear like something being stuck into the ground,
Hate that.
and then
Hate that even more.
that sounds like someone's hammering something kind of into the ground.
Bet you anything it's a
And then
spell.
you hear the footsteps go further. Doesn't seem like they came close enough. If they did see you, they didn't give you any indication that they did.
The footsteps sound like they were leaving.
They sounded like they got kind of closer, like off in the distance a little bit. You heard the thing, and then it sounded like they headed off in other direction.
I'm gonna wait like just a couple seconds and if I hear anything else. And I'm gonna walk towards it.
Stealthily?
Yeah.
I would say so.
Stomp towards it.
With a step.
Who's there?
I heard ya!
We're trying to sleep!
Give me a stealth check with disadvantage.
My friends are trying to rest, man!
Stealth check with disadvantage.
Disadvantage? That's a natural 1.
Whoa.
Can I
See if you roll two
lucky or no?
Yes, you can.
She
Wait,
Well, how
she's
does that
supposed
work?
to roll
How does
two
that
more
work with
times.
It's just her
advantage?
first roll, yeah. You get to re-roll that first roll.
Oh,
So it's still
I
going to
didn't
be with
even roll a
disadvantage.
second.
It's as if you didn't roll a 1 at all. You rolled
Okay, great.
nothing so far.
That's bad. This is not good tonight. Stealth?
Yeah.
6.
Oh god.
So you kind of move through the brush and you do your best, but there's a lot of like kind of tough dirt and smooth kind of roots sticking up out of the ground. So a couple times you hear kind of a, as your foot slips a little bit and you kind of catch yourself just because you can't see in the dark. You're kind of
Right.
working your way towards where the sound was. You make a decent bit of noise and you kind of know it. So you're trying to stay on kind of high alert. And you get a little closer and a little closer. And you see something stuck into the ground. It looks like a post has been stuck into the ground that again has kind of a skeletal torso attached to it. And the eyes, as you get a little closer,
No!
Yeah.
Can I put my hair down?
give me a wisdom check with disadvantage.
Oh, God.
The wisdom to sort of recognize it right away and turn away from it.
Wisdom check, right?
Straight wisdom, just the big number.
Wait, right here. 16.
16. You sort of, in the dark, a little bit of the moonlight creeping through the canopy of the trees shines a little bit of light on this object, and just as you realize sort of the skull shape forming sort of with the moonlit backdrop, you turn your head and you can, a little bit of the area almost lights up a little bit, as you can tell some of the light, and you kind of stand there sort of like just out of reach and you turn away from it.
I'm just gonna, knowing that it's there, I'm just gonna back away and go back.
You do that. Are you doing anything else during your watch, or do you just continue through your watch?
I think I'm just gonna take note of that and tell the next person.
Take note.
The next person wakes, which I think is Orba. You can tell her about it.
I heard something. Someone was pushing something into the ground, and I went to see what it was. And it was a post with one of those orange skeletons, but I didn't, obviously, get caught in it.
Okay, and nobody has come to
They
say
came
hello?
in and went the other way.
Okay.
I think
And that was close to the beginning of your watch, so it's been a couple hours since that happened and nothing else.
Nobody's come. Nothing else has happened.
Okay, which direction was it?
Sort of to the west.
Yeah.
Which direction is the camp?
To the north. From
Okay, so not where Jillian would be coming through. Okay, maybe we take note of that and avoid it for later. Thank you. Okay.
Continues her watch. Goes by uneventfully. Next one. And the next one. And the morning comes. You've all completed a long rest.
Oh my god.
You are no longer suffering any points of exhaustion.
Delicious.
Reverts back to 0.
Thank God, because those disadvantage checks are terrible.
Not forgiving.
Wow. And we get back.
Oh my God.
Man,
Half
those
of our
are
hit
some
dice.
good wisdom rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I got an 18 and a 17.
You would have slept through the night and you would have been
Would
paralyzed.
she not have would I not have woken up because she would have been paralyzed?
You might have, if your internal body clock's okay, you might have woken up later than you should have.
Oh.
Like when you wake
you
up and you're like, I left the oven on.
Well,
You just leave me like, oh, we can't find her. Oh, we don't really need her.
She didn't seem like she wanted to be
Yeah.
here.
She kind of seems
just
done.
fucked off in the
She's
night.
probably fine.
HP is restored.
By the way,
Skills are restored.
You were so
Huge
cocky. You were
stuff.
like, obviously I didn't get caught in it. And I was like, that was so
I meant
lucky.
like, obviously I did it because I'm not paralyzed standing back there. Not like, obviously I'm so great, but like, I'm so smart. But like, obviously I'm not
I got
nearly
it.
dead.
I was like, is that shade? I'm sorry. Safira, something's looking up at you from above. Oh, it is? Well, what is it?
Natural instinct
You get back half
of your
So,
hit die.
yeah.
Yes. How many did you have?
I had 2.
2 of 4.
So
You
I-
have all of them back now.
Oh.
So you get 2 back.
okie dokie there.
Oh, right, bud.
It's just become a Canadian stream.
It did.
Oh.
You guys doing okay on your spells? I know
I
you're sort of
think
slow.
so, yeah.
Oh,
I
you
had a
can
good
redo
idea what I
Wolf.
wanted to.
Oh, I can redo Wolf. Well, I don't actually
you
think
want
I
to?
probably want to redo Wolf though. But
Yes,
I
you
could.
can. You have the option.
Great. Wow. I never
I
felt
like
smarter
this
in my
build.
whole life.
You're very wise to it.
Being very
Yeah,
wise.
I'm
Wise,
good.
wise mode.
Tank
I
build.
feel on.
Amen.
So many spells.
I know. Chock full of spells.
You all rise in the morning, feeling a little better, shaking off kind of the jitters and the stress of sort of last night's kind of watch and discoveries that you've made. Light now pouring through the trees, kind of has the shadows that are cast against the ground, making this kind of light, dark pattern across the forest floor. No Jillian has arrived. No one has arrived at all. Other than the footsteps Beezaura heard, it's been very quiet.
So, Erland, how long do you want to wait for?
So did she give any indication, Safira, as to how long we should wait for her?
No, in fact, she said if she didn't make it out in some haste, that we should continue on and meet her in Mukmu.
I do not like that answer.
Look, you don't have to like it, but that's the decision that she made.
Should we disassemble that trap that we heard overnight and then make our way to Mukmu?
Did Orba relay that?
Oh,
Just so
sorry.
I'm aware.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so each person kind of relayed that information. Graven was the only one that hadn't heard about it. Trap.
Should we disassemble that final trap and then head south?
I imagine it's just going to be reassembled the same way that the first one that we dismantled is, but
Or perhaps they were just hunting that evil. It's guesswork at this point.
Don't exhaust yourself doing it, though.
Is it necessary? I don't. We're leaving, so.
Well, yes, but it's not us I'm worried about. It's Jillian.
where is it?
Orba points west.
Beezaura certainly knows she can lead you to
It's just west of Lodge.
50 feet, 50, 60 feet to the west.
Try to. How many feet?
Like 50 feet away, 60 feet away.
Okay, and do I know? Can I see?
I mean, Beezaura can kind of describe it.
It's a post. You'll see an orange glow. Just don't look at it, Graven.
Sacred Flame has 60 feet of range, so as soon as I can see anything that looks like.
Sure. I mean, I'm going to say the other one you kind of had a much better idea of where it was because you knew exactly where Safira was. The dexterity save might be with advantage because you're guessing essentially at kind of where it is without.
Is there any way I can help show him, or?
Yeah, you can. I mean, how close do you want to get to it before you?
30 feet.
Okay, sure. You help him. Give me an intelligence check. Straight
Me?
intelligence. Yeah, just kind of describe to Graven sort of exactly the location of this object.
I'm really smart today. Today I'm
Smart and wise.
15.
15. Great. We'll say that she does it. She sort of points to a couple of the roots sticking up. She does a good job kind of orienting you towards it. You fire out one second.
Dex save.
Natural 20. You hear the kind of... And again, you aren't positive if you hit it or not.
I'll take a few steps forward to see if I...
Okay.
Yeah.
Take a couple more steps forward, and you peek out just a little bit, and you see the outline of a skull sort of sticking up out of the ground. It looks like you
it
didn't
looks
quite
like it's
get
still up, right?
Yep.
All right. I'm gonna turn and try again.
Great.
Try kind of knowing right where it is.
Not necessarily.
14.
It saves. It saves. Yeah.
Again, and these bursts of light are kind of flashing throughout the woods a little bit.
That's good news.
Can we stop doing
We're
this?
not there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you and Graven have kind of walked
Yeah.
off a little way.
Graven, is it really necessary, you think?
If it's a chance to save Jillian from being paralyzed on her way to us, yes. I'm gonna turn. I'm gonna try again.
All right, you're gonna have to get a little closer
Yep.
even to it. I'm gonna have you make me a wisdom save with advantage because you do kind of have a good idea of where it is.
Okay.
I guess
Make
worst
sure that you
case,
don't-
I'll just slice him.
Well,
Kick me in the balls.
I said no.
Yeah,
Wisdom
don't
saving.
hurt feelings,
wisdom, no, just a wisdom check with advantage. Straight
Wisdom check with
wisdom.
advantage. I can't lose.
Which one of you did this?
Oh, thank God. All right, 21.
Okay, you're able to kind of creep a little closer, but keeping it, blocked with kind of one of the tree trunks in front of you. And once again, there you go, 11.
All right, there we go.
And you hear as you flash, you hear a little bit of like crumbling of some kind of object. Again, a third kind of flashes throughout the woods.
Good. And now they might see the light. Let's go, please.
If they saw my light, they heard your voice, so I'm gonna go.
I don't think I was that loud, but sure.
Get onto a horse.
I missed us.
Oh, it took 2 seconds.
We go back to all
Let's
them.
go back to your group.
He did it. Let's go.
Get onto the horse.
Orba?
Huh? Yes. Jillian is going to be without any kind of transportation, I suppose.
Could try leaving a horse here for her.
I feel that is only going to be taken like the others.
And we
She'll have to
don't
do
leave
for
a horse
herself.
for her.
So 3 people cannot ride
If
a
she-
single horse.
Are they all back?
Yes.
If she hasn't arrived this evening, I would assume that she's just making her way straight
Look,
to.
I would assume that it would be her, desire for us to continue on. Also, you made some big booms in the woods. I think we need to get out.
I say we get
It's
moving.
big booms, huh?
Sorry. I regretted it as soon as it came out of my mouth.
My booms are the
so many
biggest.
regrets.
Official ranger terms.
Yes.
You need a.
Listen,
Like, these are some
Jillian-
Goliath-sized booms here on the ground.
I can see that.
Jillian's very resourceful. She can figure out her transportation.
Right. South then.
Let's go.
South would definitely be the direction of where you originally came from when you were approaching Lake Wolcon.
That's a path we would remember-ish.
Reasonably, yeah.
Right where we met all the Lacafuni.
Christ.
There's a number of things back that way.
Well,
You guys start to move in that direction.
Yeah, I guess I'll get on Safira's
up.
horse again.
Okay. Same horse arrangements. Survival checks, now not with disadvantage, and Safira's is with advantage.
Great.
God, Jesus.
There you go.
13.
Natural.
Also 13.
7.
Natural 20.
16.
There we go.
Great. So now sort of hitting one of your landmarks, this sort of camp that you guys deposited when you headed up to Lake Wolcon, you have a little better sense of kind of where you're at in the mountains. You start to move down this kind of long slope and it evens out into this kind of wide, more open terrain, a little less vegetation. And Safira takes the lead, sort of looking for a few of the peaks and sort of formations that look familiar to her. And you guys start to move, sort of making your way back through the Shocky Mountains, moving along at a decent pace. You're sharing some horses, so you're not sort of at a gallop, but you're sort of trotting along, keeping a good eye around you, making sure anything that sort of catches your eye. And as you're moving through the mountains, you traverse an area that's kind of between two peaks, like the land kind of slopes up and rises way up to your right, and then again one that kind of slopes and rises way up to your left. Ground seems fairly familiar to you. You very well could have passed through here on your way through. And there's this sweeping kind of low area where the rocky hills kind of fold into one another, and mostly leafless trees are sort of dispersed throughout. Clopping of hooves are kind of amplified in this sort of area, this bowl kind of area that sort of, the sound echoes around. You can hear the it sort of echoes out very loud around you. And I need Safira to make a perception check. 6. Actually, I'm going to have everyone make one.
Oh,
And then we will...
so
Save me, you guys.
Perception?
10.
8.
13.
Listen.
It's Orba who hears a sound.
Second better.
As you guys
Always.
move into the turn.
Sit down, Ranger.
Something kind of through the air, and then a clack. Something kind of smacking against the ground. It sounds like it's kind of behind you guys. And you sort of take a look around, and right, sort of slowing to a stop, is a little stone that and it slows, and it kind of stops there. And you take a peek at it, and it looks like there might be something tied to it.
How far away is it again?
It's probably 20 feet behind you.
She's the only person who sees it.
She's the, yeah.
Okay. She's just gonna tap Beezaura for a second, take out her crystal, cast Mage Hand, and try to grab the stone. Did
You
it
have to-
Did it come rolling down from one of the hills? Am I
You just heard you didn't see that because it was
Okay.
behind you. You heard the kind of and you looked around and it was kind of rolling along the ground. It's hard to tell exactly where it
I'm
was.
gonna stop the horse.
You do so. What is the range on Mage?
30 feet.
30 feet. You can reach it.
Okay. I'm gonna have it.
And you guys hear Orba and Beezaura pull up, you know, you
Orba.
guys on your other horses.
What is it?
1 second.
And you grab it, you lift it back, place it in your hand, and it looks like there's a little piece of parchment tied to this rock. There's a little note attached to it. It's written in Elvish. Not able to understand.
I cast Comprehend
Oh.
Languages.
Wow, savage.
Wow.
Okay.
There's a spell slots on top of your
I'm not giving this to you. Are you kidding
Orba
me?
sort of holds it close.
I speak
You're right. You
Elvish.
speak out.
Can I see her doing this?
You can see, yeah, you're sitting on Orba's horse. You could definitely see you're doing it.
I have that equipped, right? I believe I do. Yes.
What's it say?
And you look, and the letters kind of twist and turn. You start to able to decipher it. The note says, "If the name Sketskir means anything to you, head up the hill on your right to a small cave behind a fallen tree. If the name means nothing, keep riding and do not approach, or we will attack." Once again, if the name Sketskir means anything to you, head up the hill on your right to a small cave behind a fallen tree. If the name means nothing, keep riding and do not approach, or we will attack.
Dude.
One last, I want to hear the instructions on where the cave is.
I can, if you say you head there, I can tell you. But once again, up the hill on your right,
Uphill.
small cave behind a fallen tree.
What?
Okay, great.
You would know this. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't read it yet. Orba hasn't shown you. Sketskir he made the map.
He was the
that
scout.
you got. He was the scout that
Or
made
scout.
the map that you
Right.
stole.
Indian elves that we kind of ticked over.
We never met Skensky,
You
right?
did met Sketskir.
Oh, he was there?
When everybody went to kind of short rest and leaning against the trees, you went over to like the little camp area, and you talked to him very briefly.
Right.
But we dicked over his fucking.
Yeah,
The one
yeah.
where we stole
Family.
No more
Is
indulging
that when we
together,
stole the
yes,
map
yeah.
from him?
Yes.
Is it obvious that I cast Comprehend Languages?
I mean, she could see you casting a spell. She's not familiar with the spell, so she.
We need to get the half elves. Safira, Graven, Erland, come here for a second.
Are you able to read it?
No. And I'm gonna hand it to Erland.
Give me a deception check.
Oh my god.
No! 9!
I mean, you got the impression because she looked at it,
looked at
couldn't see anything, and then she kind of did something, and then she looked at it a little more intensely. You get the impression that maybe she can tell, but she turns and speaks to the others.
But we don't see any of the.
No, you didn't see
yet.
any of that. Yeah.
Hand it to Erland.
What is this?
I don't know, it's written in Elvish.
Where did it come from?
It was on a rock.
Just on the ground?
Does it matter?
It does matter immensely where the note came from. Read it, please. I'm holding on to it.
Why?
I'm gonna pull it away from Safira. I'm behind you, pull it away. And then I read it to myself first. It says, if you know Sketskier,
If the name Sketskier means anything to you, head up the hill on your right to a small cave behind a fallen tree. If the name means nothing, keep riding and do not approach, or we will attack you.
okay, so I'll read that quietly out loud to everyone.
Well, I mean, technically,
Is there an option on there where we just ride by and...
So that's
that is
option
the
2.
second
Yes.
option, Graven.
I don't think they'll be happy to see us.
Well, we don't.
Well, if they weren't happy to see us, I mean, sure, it could be a trap, but I don't think that they'd be throwing us messages on rocks if they didn't want someone. I mean,
What if Jillian's with them?
I, regardless of what you want to do, I need to go.
Why?
why?
I promised one of the elves something, so I need to go.
You need to go back and see Sketskier.
I need to, at the very least, see what they want. Because it might be... It's written in Elfish.
It might be your head.
If it is, we have information to bargain with them. So
I agree. We're on the same side.
let's go.
Alright.
Fine.
Are you coming with me?
Yes.
We just said fine.
Yes.
The hill's fairly steep up to the right. You might have to tie up your horses to start trekking up.
Oh, sorry.
Goody.
It's not. It doesn't seem far. You can already see what looks like a large fallen tree kind of up on the hillside, but it's pretty steep. It would be very difficult to navigate the horses.
We
up
have
there.
not yet reached the area where we had to traverse Josco's.
No. Yeah, that's at least a day away for sure. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you guys camped right after that, after you crossed the bridge.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's a good ways off.
Well,
Let's go.
yes. We're gonna go
I'll
see.
fold the note up, put it in my bag.
Sure.
Lead the way.
All right. I will quietly start moving up the hill, trying to see if I can see where the hell this note came from, if there's anyone in front
Give
of
me a
us.
perception check. Give me with advantage. You kind of know what you're looking for. The note said so.
I always forget my perception. 21.
21. So you head up this incline that on foot is fairly manageable. And you see right away it's a large fallen tree. Tree trunk's very thick, sort of one of the thicker ones in the area. And the ground around it is littered with these sort of needly pine bristles. It looks, and the bristles are greenish. It looks like perhaps this tree was felled fairly recently. It doesn't seem like it's been kind of sitting there for a long time. And as soon as you've gotten to the point where you can see around it, the described cave comes into view. It's kind of like a curled, overhanging portion of the rock that provides like a little kind of roofed area that you could camp in or safe from the elements.
Can I, as I'm approaching it, put up my hood so that I can obscure my face a little bit?
Can I be right behind Erland?
Sure, you do so. What is the marching order? So Graven right behind Erland.
Yeah, I'll be behind Graven.
I'm being in the back.
I'll be in front of Orba.
Okay, great. You guys
Thanks.
start trudging up. And you see that sort of curled overhanging portion, and then you see a charred pile of sticks kind of right at its base. It looks like maybe a campfire was made there. It's not currently burning, but you see a kind of charred stack of circular kind of stick pile. And instead of hiding, a pair of elven figures in shredded, stitched together attire rise up at the top of this ridge. So there's this overhang, and then up at the top are two elves leaning over the side, making their presence known. And they have their bows ready as you approach. Not pointed at you, but like very much knocked and ready.
Are they wearing Radiran garb?
The shredded garb is the Radiran kind of, yes. It looks familiar.
I'm going to sort of, as they, seeing that they have their weapons out, I'm going to sort of hold up both my hands and in Elfish say, I found your note.
You do so. And the ones on the cliffside don't say anything. But an elven man emerges from the shadows. His arms kind of folded over like this, and in his right hand there's a blade that he's kind of holding to his torso. He's not holding it out, but sort of tucked against his side as he kind of meanders out.
So there's like two elves with bows.
There's two above him.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
he's coming out of the
Oh.
cave, so above him are two. You can see at least three. You don't
Okay.
know if there's more, but you can definitely see at least three of them. And you recognize him. Man from the temporary camp of the Radiran Elves during your approach to MacLeod. This is Sketskier. And he kind of wanders up a little bit, and he holds out his hand, not with a forceful kind of stop, but just a motion not to kind of move forward any further. The heart of the Shaki Mountains is not typically a place where you expect to see familiar faces. And yet here we are. Nol Noir and Daldoon seemed to be under the impression that you had a bone to pick with the Black Lions. Your presence here would seem to confirm that. Or perhaps you came over here to give them a map that you'd stolen.
Jillian has the only copy of that map, yes? Okay. I'm going to keep my hands out. Is he speaking Common or Elfish?
He speaks Common. He sees the group here, and he recognizes you. I mean, he saw you guys come into the Rodiran camp.
Hang on. We didn't steal the map to give it to the Black Lions.
I don't know what you did.
To be fair, it wasn't my... I'm looking at, like, Graven or Orba or anyone.
Is there something you want from us?
A small group of us returned to the mountains when we received word that the Lakafuya raiding parties were targeting the Black Lion monoliths. Zealots of the Lakafuyu are bloodthirsty Ujuthifenoa. You've heard this before. Human filth is what he's saying. Human scum. But attacking your enemy when they're already being attacked is a good way to make the most of what meager forces you have. So we rode for the mountains. If I'm to believe that you didn't deposit the map in their possession, perhaps you have some information you'd like to give us in return for the map that you borrowed.
In Elfish, I'm going to say, have you spoken with Daldoon?
I am.
Then you know Then you know we conversed.
I do.
He seems to believe that I'm on the right side of this, that we're on the right side of this.
Erland, what are you talking about? Who?
I'm just going to put up a hand.
What do you owe him?
I'm going to put up a hand. You can't hear that.
I don't know what you're saying.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm asking
Okay,
you.
so I'm just going to put up a hand to Graven to calm down. Calm down, Goliath. You know that Daldoon and I have an agreement, an understanding.
Okay. Do you have what Daldoon asked for?
I was not able to get any specifically, but I was able to help destroy the camp that is pushing you out.
And it kind of looks. The camp's destroyed.
Not yet, but it's in the process.
So you don't have what Daldoon asked for, and you didn't destroy the camp. So
Daldoon did not only ask me to bring him extract. Daldoon asked me to meet him in Navikapura for a favor, and that I intend to do. He asked if possible to get extract, and it was not possible. I actually didn't see any in my time there.
Well, you've made a deal with Daldoon. Fair enough. But you didn't make a deal with me.
I agree. But I think that shows at least enough trust that we're not handing the map over to Black Lions.
Perhaps. And now in common. If that's true, then what can you give me?
What are you looking for?
You say you came from the camp. The camp supposedly has Black Lions working there. What can you tell me? What bit of information do you have to trade, or are you merely thieves?
Are you wishing to dismantle the camp or seek revenge for the land that was taken from you?
I'd like any bit of information that can help me against the Black Lions.
The Black Lions, as is in common, the Black Lions, as we speak, are setting up traps in the area. I don't know magic specifically, but some sort of necromancy spell that paralyzes people. They're looking for Lakafuyu. I don't know that.
They do.
Unless Beezaura... Oh, you guys communicate that. Yeah, sorry.
I told you.
They're looking for Lakafuyu, but they are setting up traps, it seems, intermittently around the forest, around the mountains.
They've also abandoned their security posts at the Myconid camps.
At least for the time being.
Why?
To more aid to fight the Lakafuyu. Lakafuyu are trying to destroy
Monoliths.
monoliths and soul chambers?
There is supposedly a soul chamber by at least one of these monoliths.
And there was some kind of argument between, I don't know, one of the head Black Lions and someone at the camp, and then they seemed to tear off towards these, I forgot what it's called.
There is tumult right now between the Black Lions and the rest of the camp, and we are pretty sure that there will be significant damage done to the camp. Either already has been or will be very soon.
You've been to the camp. You've been inside it?
Yes.
Yes.
And if I were you, and I would keep your people away from the camp. If it's not, as the Goliath said, already destroyed, it will be destroyed shortly, and you don't want to be inside of it when it is.
We've had a problem with Rudiran elves being captured alive. Unusual for the Black Lions, who normally seek to kill. When you were there, did you see any elves that matched our description?
None of the mutants had specifically Rudiran attire.
No.
We did not see any Rudiran elves.
No, but it wouldn't seem outside the realm of possibility that they were captured and then experimented on.
Experimented how?
They're being turned into some sort of muscle enforcement. Mutants. It's unclear how yet. It's unclear why.
Some people, when they're exposed to marketed extract or I'm not sure what, have a, I don't know, they change and become more
When
powerful.
Rudira was being attacked, there were savage beasts we've never seen before from the Black Lions. We assumed it was some form of reanimation, necromancy.
There's
You're telling me that's not the case?
When
There
was
is that
this?
as well. But in this
When was this?
Over the past year or more.
there is necromancy as well from the Black Lions, as you know.
Yes, but you'd recognize necromancy if you saw it, and this wasn't that.
If they look more mutilated than undead, then it could have been what's going on at these camps. This camp.
Unfortunately, most of them did not live to tell the tale.
If you want to attack the Black Lions, now might be the time, given that they're already at war with the Lakafuyu, but I would avoid the camp entirely. I know you want extract for your war, for your battle, but now is not the time.
Also, it's worth noting, those men, those monsters that they've created, they have no minds, you can't speak to them. It's hardly a soldier, it's a thing. If you're interested in shoring up your forces, surely you can find a different way. Do you really want to turn your people into those things?
Give me a perception. Give me a persuasion check. Give me with advantage. You guys have been pretty forthright.
Oh. 19.
Nice.
All right, we'll stay away from the camp. That's intelligence worth knowing. And these traps that are being set, they look like what?
They look like skulls or torsos on a post. They've got an orange glow. Do not have your men look at them. I did it, and I was paralyzed.
I've heard descriptions of traps like this before. Things they've used in the past.
We've seen them on posts, we've seen them suspended in treetops.
The only way to break it, it seems, is to puncture the person.
To break the paralysis,
Right.
not the item itself.
This information is useful. When we head back to south of Mukmu, regain our strength and make a proper focused attack, going to need supplies. We're very short on them. I want 100 gold for the map that you stole. That information proved invaluable to you, no doubt.
I don't know if we have that.
I doubt we have 100 gold.
We've been traveling through the mountains.
What do you have? And you can sense his tone a little bit. I mean, he's frustrated, but he's not yelling at you. He's desperate. I mean, you sense his sort of desperation.
Oh, good. I have 1 gold and 5 silver, you guys. I have got this. Killed it.
50 gold. And we will try to get supplies to you if we can.
Make a persuasion check.
8.
75.
There is a displacer beast somewhere in these mountains. Have you heard of this?
No.
Have you heard of a displacer beast?
I know what it is, yes.
You have not seen one?
No.
There's a bounty on one for 400 gold.
And what is that to me?
Well,
400 gold.
Are you bringing me the beast?
If I was hoping you might have seen it, provided intel.
I can't spare men to chase some creature across the continent.
no, but I'm a tracker, and I'm somewhat good at it.
I don't have that kind of time.
If we head south, we're heading south anyways, and we find this beast, we'll meet you in McDonough and give you 200 gold.
50 now.
Orba takes out 25.
I take out 25.
Okay. I was ready to give
Graven flips through. He does the wallet.
50 in his hand. He's like, alright.
Reaches for his wallet.
I will take out some of these guys. I'll take out and give each 10.
And he kind of you can see as he approaches you to take the gold, the men up on the cliff, not like in full sort of draw, but they sort of, begin to, just to make sure that nobody does anything as he approaches you. And he gets like a little pouch that he...
As Orba's reaching to put it in, she'll also say, one more exchange of information between each other.
Are you trying to keep this out of earshot? Okay.
There's a 6th member of our party. She might be coming through this way. You met her back at the camps.
Yes, there was one more of you.
Assist her, if you can.
I don't have the resources to do that.
Provide her with the information that you saw us, that we are heading back to McDonough, that she can find us there.
Also, she has long, dark red hair. Take the liberty of, not shooting at her if you see someone who looks like her.
And she might be able to give you more information than we could.
Fine. You have my word.
If it is any consolation to you, my friend, the man who betrayed your people got what he deserved. This I know.
How do you know this?
We discovered it in the camps.
What betrayal?
The elf, the Radiran elf. Your lands? They weren't just taken over. They were sold.
By who?
She's gonna lean in a little. Norman Naya.
And you see his facial expression change at the mention of this. I did not know this.
I am sorry to be the deliverer of this news.
And when you say he got what he deserved, what does that mean?
The mutants, the powerful, mindless creatures that you know of, he is not one of them.
That is not getting what you deserve.
Trust me, we have our eye on him as well.
Where is he?
McDonough.
Where?
He works with the Lemonade Men. You cannot miss him.
He sort of like blinks in almost sort of blind rage.
Look, that's a dangerous fight to start.
It is. I do not recommend it.
Go. And I want that remaining gold that you promised.
We will get it to you.
200 gold?
Yes.
If we find the beast, we'll get it to you.
You said when you got back to Mokmo.
All right.
150 more gold, yes.
And he straightens up. And he motions above him, and they kind of go. I'll keep an eye out for your friend.
How close have the Lakafuyu come to here? When's the last time you saw them?
We saw them riding near the calluses, the mesas.
Okay. Let's go.
Turns, moves back into the cave, and you see the guys kind of disappear over the backside of the ridge. And with Graven shaking his head, that's what we're doing. God damn it.
You realize I can speak Elvish, right?
Yeah, I
you
know.
think you're not going to get yelled at?
You realize that I cast comprehend languages.
No, I didn't know that.
Erland
didn't.
Oh, I thought you as John did.
Oh, I was like, where were you for that?
That is where we will take a break. Meeting some old friends.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
That guy's being too hard on us.
We
He's
will.
had a hard
He's
time.
had a tough go.
Yeah, he's had a
having
rough
a
couple
bad
years.
Rudyard else has had a tough go. We will take a 20-minute break, grab something to eat, and we'll cool off a little bit, and then we will return
Yeah.
and continue the journey through the Sharky Mountains.
Put
Yes,
our foot inside of all of our
Mouse.
Respective
holes.
mouths.
Mouths.
Yep, mouth holes.
We got
Not
there.
holes. Thank you.
Thank you, comrade and somber. I'm sorry that thank you came after such an odd thing to say. But thank you. You subscribed, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Welcome back. Hope you're enjoying the stream.
Yes, welcome back.
We'll take our 20, and we'll see you guys on the other side.
Soon.
All right. We'll see what it
Bye.
has in store for us next. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Chapter 43 of A Peek Beneath the Veil.
Yeah.
Our party has just finished up negotiating with some Radiran elves, of which they, one of which they recognized from a time ago, having taken his map and used it to good effect for scouting the camp. And with a little bit of payment, bribery, extortion, whatever you want to call it, they set you on your way. They begin to kind of disappear back over the ridge. You guys make your way back down that kind of steep hill, sort of trudging down back to where you tied up your horses to a couple of trees. Is there anything before you guys kind of set off again?
Anyone else you want to give all our money to before we get back, Erland?
I didn't give him 50 gold now. I was trying to put off the payment until later. Also, incidentally, I am extraordinarily worried about heading back to McDonough. Last we left, the Lemonade Man knew about us. There was these mutants being set after us. I don't know if it's exactly the
Do you want
safest
to meet
place.
Gillian, or do you not want to meet
I
Gillian?
do. I was going to suggest
What?
if we... It's suspicious that we showed up, fought a bunch of undead in a cemetery, made a whole bunch of noise, and then left for 2, 3 days, 4 days. If we perhaps returned with the displacer beast, it would be some sort of alibi.
So you're saying we should go hunt a beast?
Yeah.
Just to...
It's not a top priority, but I do think disappearing for that amount of time after making so much noise, at the very least, when someone says, "Where were you?" we can show this. And Goliath, it
We
was at
can
the
say
Broken
not only
Crown
did
checkpoint.
we take the
Yes?
time to screw up your cemetery, we also left, and now we've
Well,
come back with the head of a beast.
It's not so much that we screwed, because the cemetery was another contract job. We could, in theory, be contract workers. We did a contract for Yannick. We did a contract in the mountains. It's at least a viable
Contract
story.
workers that have been embroiled in quite a bit of...
It's not airtight, but I'm very worried about going back, and how long are we going to have to wait for Gillian while we're there? We need something to keep authorities, and I don't know if the Lemonade Man's going to stay off of us, but maybe these Radiran
He's
elves will
almost
fight
certainly
him.
not going to.
If there's some sort of war that actually works for us, for our benefit.
I think that's a very thoughtful opinion and strategy, Erland, but I do believe that time is of the essence and we can't just search all of the Shocky Mountains
You're exactly right. We can't waste days, but
Yes.
if we encounter anyone we should ask, we should... Goliath, did they make any indication as to where it was last seen in the Shocky Mountains?
Just in the Shocky Mountains.
Can't we just say we were there trying to find it?
We could, as a worst case scenario, but of course, bringing something back is better. We're accused of lying everywhere we go, even when we're not lying.
Well, I mean...
So-
And bringing back the head
how
of the
often
beast is
is
proof.
it exactly that we're not lying?
Fairly often these days, actually.
Really? Are you the person that's... Really?
Okay, hold on. I do believe even when we do arrive in Mukmu, we are keeping our heads down.
Yes.
We do not go to Skens, we do not go to the Institute, we do not go
Yes.
anywhere. So our presence in town will hopefully go mostly unnoticed.
I'm not saying we need to waste days on this, but having it on our radar as a possibility for an alibi is worthwhile.
Okay, so we will keep an eye out for a displacer beast as we head towards
Yes, if you
Mukmu.
see Safira, if you see tracks, if you see anything, that
Yes,
would be...
I will certainly let you know if I see the tracks of a giant... It's a tentacled, monster.
It looks like a kind of a panther with tentacles.
And even if we don't find it, Erland, we just say we were off looking for it.
I agree. That is a good fallback plan.
I do
Bringing
not
the head of a
understand
beast.
why you are all arguing with such a tone when you are agreeing with one another.
Sometimes it takes a little force for me to get through to him.
It was my idea.
Shall we continue the ride?
It doesn't matter, Erland.
Fine idea.
Let's go.
You guys mount
How bizarre up on
Thank you.
up. Survival checks again for everybody as you continue to
And
retrace
it's going to be
yourselves.
interesting when I show up
With
to look
advantage for
real
some
green.
Oh my
Oh, that
god.
sucks so much.
Did you say
I just did. I
with
rolled
disadvantage?
2 3s
Everyone's
in a
straight.
row.
Safira with advantage because she.
Oh, I got a
It
natural
doesn't
20.
matter.
Natural 20.
Thank God.
Dirty 20.
I haven't got a natural
Dirtle?
20 in.
Dirtle.
A dirtle 20.
You come across a dirtle, which is like a dirt turtle.
I could just see it.
Talk to it.
It's a little muddy turtle.
13.
14.
6.
What is it? I know!
Wow.
Angel's just
I
picking her nose.
Safira's drunk. She doesn't.
So once again, you are able to retrace your steps fairly well. You sort of retreat back through a couple of areas that are familiar to you. You see on your way back those kind of hot springs that you saw before your sort of ascent to Lake Wakam.
Nice. I remember those.
Is that an area you wish to stop? That sort of takes you up kind of a hill into like a hot springs area, or you can make a little better time and just kind of pass by it.
So, would I know anything about this beast in terms of what its preferred habitat is?
It is a mountain-dwelling creature, and it lives in caves usually.
Caves? Okay. I mean, this is a body of water? Can I like sort of check the area to see if there are any sort of caves, anything?
I'll lump that into your survival check. So sort of check for that kind of thing. So
Do you
and
have
don't
to do that?
you don't see any signs.
Could be like a different one.
What if I look
That one's getting
What if I squint really, really hard? And
During your time passing through here, you don't notice anything that catches your eye that might indicate that a beast like that came through.
Damn it.
And again, when you came, this is an area that, if not exactly this path, very close to this that you came on your way through, and you didn't see anything during that time either.
Okay, well, I'm useless.
Great.
You thought you were just going to see him swimming in one of the hot springs. One of the
Yeah. I just don't see him.
Do you guys stop at the hot springs, or are you continuing on to sort of
I think we should keep
make better
moving.
time?
I did find it very relaxing last time, but I suppose we can move on.
We don't believe the hot spring will help, with the green.
Oh, that's true.
I could take
I mean,
a
maybe
quick
if you
jump in if you'd like.
We can turn around if you
don't
want to
know.
really give yourself a scrub.
I mean, I can tell you
That's the weirdest thing.
like swam through a pretty, fast river coming out of the
Yeah,
camp.
and that.
It will fade with time.
Right.
You might be able to lessen it a little bit. It's not just going to come off in
Right.
the water. It might help a little bit. It's not going to get rid of it.
Have you got a pumice stone?
Look, there's a loofah.
Okay, get to it.
Something to sharpen a blade with, so you can rub it on your skin.
I think it's just gonna have to be a waited out sort of thing.
That's actually something though for when we get closer to McDonough. I'm not sure if we want anyone to see it like this because, I mean, I don't know, but it looks like we're robbers of some kind.
Well, at worst, anyone associated with the camp will know exactly what. I assume. What happened to you, incidentally?
It was sort of a unauthorized room situation, and we entered it.
Druid trap.
I went first and got the blow of it.
And it doesn't seem like it'll come off with some scrubbing?
No.
Is there a way... Is there any kind of affliction that, looks like this?
I mean, it
Doesn't look like anything I've ever seen.
I think it's just something I'm
And
gonna
there's
have to
nothing
deal
that
with.
she looks like now, like a halfling. Could she be some mixed breed of something?
I mean, the only thing the only thing is in similar size and color would be a goblin, but her features look nothing like that. I mean,
well,
At worst case, I'll throw on an extra cloak or something.
Yes.
I have plenty of clothes in my bag.
Yes.
I mean, if your face is hidden, you could be, a goblin companion.
I think we should just move
I
forward.
think walking into that.
you guys are also more than a day away from
Yeah.
Well, so
It'll
for the
fade.
whole way, it's just gonna be planning different disguises for BC.
It's okay. It'll fade. Let's go.
You guys continue to move. And the next thing that you think that you're keeping an eye out for is what Jillian described as the last sip, that sort of cratered area that had the overgrown vegetation.
Ugh.
And on your way to that, you sort of pass through, and you kind of passed through this before, a dry kind of Badlands style stretch, not much vegetative growth, a lot of kind of rock formations. And instead of any kind of trees or forestation, there's an abundance of hoodoos, or also called tent rocks, which are these sort of large stone pillars. And they form because the rock at the top is much harder than the rock underneath that is eroded away. So there's all these kind of rock pillars that are sprouting up out of the ground, anywhere from 5 to 15 feet tall, kind of interspersed throughout this area. And there's more than enough space to kind of ride or walk between them. They're not so sort of, close to each other that it becomes an encumbrance to your travel. But you are forced to kind of stick close to each other to make sure that you don't kind of lose each other, get out of each other's eyesight as you ride along. Overhead, you start to see the circling of a number of what look to be vultures, some kind of bird of prey of some kind. Graven and Safira give me nature checks.
14.
15.
You guys both take a look up, and they're from creatures that not only sort of able to identify them as vultures, they also seem to have these kind of oversized yellow talons that look sort of shining even in the sunlight. They sort of outshine the bright sky. These are shock vultures. They're vultures that sort of have sort of voltage, electricity that runs throughout their body.
Oh.
They're not terribly uncommon, and one of them is not a terrible threat. They kind of tend to travel in packs, or if they've circled around a prey of some kind. But they're not, this isn't some great beast.
2, 3 of them?
It looks like a few of them, maybe 5 or 6 of them.
Okay.
And at first, the difference in the silhouettes against the sky seems like they're just flying at varying elevations. But you soon realize that mixed in among the standard shock vultures are giant ones. 2 or 3 times the size of their lesser kin, with impressive wingspans that allow them to glide for long periods of time without flapping. And you continue to ride a little further, and they seem mostly uninterested in your presence. They're at least 50, 60, 70 feet above you. I mean, a good distance away. And you see what may have captured these birds' attention. In a little clearing where all these sort of rock pillars are standing up, you see and smell a hefty rotting corpse of what looks like an adult bullet, which is a sort of, their nickname is called land sharks. There's these sort of big-jawed alligator-type creatures that burrow through the ground. They're common in the mountains. I mean, not super common, but not unheard of. They're not a rare creature. And its carcass is tipped on one side. It clearly has been decaying for a number of days. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, it sparked something.
I'll just tell you. So it looks like...
I think she had a relationship with
For some reason, land shark just hit me right in my giggles.
Just see like a boom flopping.
So you see this creature sort of toppled over on its side. Sort of fleshy bits have been torn at significantly by talons. Some of the guts are kind of spilled out onto the ground. And with the dry air, it's kind of wafting through your nostrils. So it's really kind of nasty, decaying smell. And stuck into the bullet's gut looks like a broken spear. It looks like a hunter or something stuck this creature and jammed into its mouth. Sort of, it's like chomped down on it. And it looks a little dented, but otherwise pretty intact. Is a very beautiful looking round shield. A painted spiral pattern of blues, reds, and yellows. Looks like whoever attempted to hunt this beast, it may have gotten the better of them, or they fled. You don't see like a smaller creature or a humanoid creature on the ground that may have attempted to hunt this creature. And the birds are kind of circling overhead, kind of in the vicinity. And this bullet corpse is maybe 70, 80 feet from where you are.
Blue, red, and yellow shield.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that...
Do I recognize that as...
No. The markings don't mean anything to you in particular.
And that's... I mean, it's hard to see very far in any direction, but that's the only kind of thing. The land shark, the things above.
The bullet and the vultures and and it has the spear in its gut, and it looks like it kind of clamped down on the shield, but it wasn't able to kind of bite through it.
Some kind of battle took place here.
Yeah.
Between nature and man.
Can we...
Does anybody need a shield?
I mean, it looks nice. Can I kind of pick it up and like...
Are you going to walk up to it?
Pretty far away.
You're a distance. You're at least 60, 70 feet away from it at this point. You've spotted it.
Yeah, I want to walk kind of closer.
Are you staying on the horse? Because we're on the same horse together.
Yeah.
Saphira's leading the horse, so...
I don't. There's
Yes,
I don't think going anywhere near the creature.
Do you really need the shield, Safira?
Well, evidently we need 150 more gold by the time we meet up with any Redeer elves again.
Or they'll
so.
all be dead by the time we get back to Mokmu. Hopefully.
That's thinking positive.
They're shock vultures. I don't imagine that they'll
Can I take
want
a
us unless we're
second?
either dead or attacking them.
Yeah, but we're about to steal what we think is their food.
Can I take a second to see if there's anything sort of like, if I can hear anything small running around? I'm trying to hunt and like kill. I'm trying to kill something small.
You give a good look around. It does not seem like there's any land-dwelling creatures, as far as you can tell. Just the animals overhead. Yeah. They may have, given your knowledge of these creatures, they're fairly aggressive predators. Small creatures probably, if they sense the presence of these vultures, would not want to get close to them. So you don't see anything.
Okay. I have a bad idea.
Okay.
Go on.
It's a really bad idea, you guys. I have... You don't think one of them would want to chat to me, do you?
I'm sorry.
What?
I could maybe say something to one of the birds and see if it's seen, the beast wandering around, or perhaps, Jillian.
What are you talking about?
Well, I don't know how to explain this in Safira. I don't know how did Safira learn
for
this?
learning new spells, basically in your spare time, you've been practicing this. You are aware that this sort of skill exists, and in the theoretical downtime that exists, it's the same way other people learn spells. You've been practicing it over and over again, and recently you've mastered the ability for it to be effective enough to use it.
Okay.
You can talk to animals?
I mean, I if it wants to talk to me, I can. I mean, I can speak to it. Whether or not it's going to speak back is kind of, I mean...
If you can, wouldn't you want to ask it if it saw what came and battled with this beast?
I mean, I don't know how much I care what came and battled with this beast. I want to get I want to find the Displacer beast, maybe Jillian, and get back to Buckmoo. I'm not sure. I mean, if the shield is worth anything, then maybe we can take it, but...
You would perhaps this is preposterous, let the birds know that we're taking the shield and not their food?
I mean...
I think the question about Jillian is probably more valuable, yes?
I can already tell you right now, animal intelligence, they keep their they will speak a word or two at a time. They cannot communicate to you a train
I
of
saw
thought.
a story.
That's not how it works.
The red hair was blowing in the wind and she swung by.
You can be like, there's danger, and they might be like, thanks, and fly away. It's literally like, they're not smart creatures.
Where good food.
Okay.
Look, it's not something I've tried yet. I'm not sure if they'll have any information that's useful, but it's something I could do. But if I was going to do it, what I think I'd need to do is leave my weapons with you. I know, and maybe approach just so it looks like I'm not,
Yes.
if I come with a bow, then I wouldn't trust me saying
You've got it.
any...
I think you've got it. If you can communicate to them you don't want their food,
Okay,
perhaps.
well, so what do you think I should say first? Should I say, I don't want your food, or should I say...
I don't know how to
Hiya.
talk to animals. You do whatever you think.
Yeah. Safira's taking a moment to really brace herself, and then she's gonna take off her bag and give it to Graven.
Orba gets her crystal out.
Or what?
Gets her crystal out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I sort of take the reins of the horse in case we need to move quick.
In case, and I'm gonna hop off the horse once I've kind of handed my stuff, and take a few steps forward.
You're still 50, 60 feet away from the corpse.
But can they can I signal to them?
You could yell to them. Anything that can hear you if you use the spell.
Okay, so I'm going to.
Oh no.
Oh no, I'm gonna do it.
Guys, this was a mistake. Giving her this spell was a mistake.
Give me this
There's gonna be an entire subplot to Safira trying to talk to animals.
They're never gonna give
Why
me
did you let us
This
live
is the
alone?
dumbest spell they've chosen. I did it just for this. She's gonna look up and say,
You casted the spell.
I cast the spell.
How long does it last?
Well, let me read it to you. It says, you gain the ability to comprehend and verbally communicate with beasts for the duration, which is 10 minutes. The knowledge and awareness of many beasts is limited by their intelligence, which most of them are stupid, but at minimum, beasts can give you information about nearby locations and monsters, including whatever they can perceive or have perceived within the past day. You might be able to persuade a beast to perform a small favor for you at the GM's discretion.
If you can persuade them, and if it's not a creature that views you as a threat,
Okay,
Yeah,
so...
Like it would be
Very
easier to
defensive
convince a dog or something
Like,
to do a favor than a wild
Not a
creature.
vulture?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Bring me the shield.
It's like,
That's too much fun.
No, we're getting derailed.
Okay. So I'm gonna kind of signal up to them. I mean you no harm. Just a quick question. I'm looking for a large. I describe kind of the displacer beast to them.
okay.
Have you seen it anywhere?
And you hear back a number of cries out from a few of the different ones as they're circling, and you hear them, food, 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 they kind of circle down. One of them kind of goes down to the wet corpse and kind of picks a piece of its flesh off and flies back up.
That's all they get for me. Okay, so Safira
That was too complex of thoughts to communicate to them.
hearing that, she kind of, okay, that didn't work. Just decides to drop. 10 minutes!
You got all the time in the world.
10 minutes. She goes, yeah, food, right.
And as Safira's standing there, you guys are watching, and she's going like,
Like making the shapes of a beast and like.
I don't think she's being very successful.
simple thoughts, simple
Okay.
thoughts.
Okay, so Safira's like trying to get it back together. A woman with red hair. Anywhere.
You hear a little, it seems like they at least heard you.
No, okay. Thanks.
Food. And another one kind of comes down, takes a piece.
Did you ask about the shield?
Oh no. Kill the thing. What kill?
And you hear some calls back. Hunter.
They said it was and I kind of backed them. They're saying there was a hunter. I don't know what else to ask them.
Ask if we can take the shield if they don't want it.
Don't know how that's gonna go. The shield can take. Can I
Stay away from food.
Okay.
Stay away.
Yeah, staying away. No, we can't take the shield. Definitely not. But they haven't seen Jillian.
She turns back to the party and they're all like. But you got a little bit of information.
They haven't seen Jillian, and they have not seen the Displacer Beast. If we keep moving, actually, quite quickly, this lasts for another few minutes. Maybe I can ask something else.
Okay.
To a different creature?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Let's keep moving
Okay.
quickly.
Let's go.
So I'm kind of getting on the
I can
horse. I'm
give room
trotting
for
and
her
giving
on
a
the
wide
horse.
berth to
Throw
the.
your pack back too.
Stay far away from the vultures. They're nervous about us getting near their food.
Okay. Give me all stealth checks with advantage as you attempt to sort of
Oh,
maneuver
I
the
don't wanna
horses
take
as far
myself
away
back
from
from
it
the
in this kind of sort of canyon air.
With advantages.
Yeah.
Stay away.
Nice.
Food.
15.
Advantage.
Yeah.
14.
18.
23.
24.
Great. You guys
Pretty
found
good.
you guys found a good amount of space, and you also you make sure that you keep kind of the pillars between you and the sort of rotting corpse to make sure that it doesn't seem that you're going to approach it quickly at any point whatsoever. Although as you get close, you do notice that the horses seem to be reacting to the kind of smell and the sight of the beast, which is a threatening beast, and you start to feel a little.
Safira, maybe calm the horses?
Talk to the horses.
Okay. Hi guys. I'm so nervous.
Just say calm.
I'm so nervous.
And you can hear them sort of almost talking out loud, but also kind of to you just sort of, danger. And they can sort of sense the danger of the creatures around them.
I'm gonna cry. Okay.
Give me an animal handling check with advantage, and who else is riding not with advantage?
Tell them it's okay.
Safira's kind of saying, it's all right, you're safe.
Ooh.
6.
15.
Sorry, 18.
18,
Nice.
great. So Safira and Erland and Orba and Beezaura sort of maneuvering around, but Graven sort of trying to maneuver around a little. The horse is kicking up a little bit. It's kind of pushing back and almost kind of stay
Am
further
I close
away
to his
from-
horse at all?
I mean, 10 feet away. Yeah.
Talk to his horse.
It's all right, you're right. And you
And it's
know,
kind of, no.
no, it's dead. It's not gonna get you. It's dead.
Give me a persuasion check.
Ooh, cool.
Oh.
Fucking natural. I tried to re-roll it too.
What?
I picked it up
What
like
have you
I
done to my
pretended it didn't
horse?
happen.
As you,
my horse.
as you try to speak to it, it seems to get a little more ornery. and it's kind of kicking up a little bit, and it's kind of turning back around to go in the opposite direction with Graven kind of on it, trying to control it. You guys are separating.
Can I stop my horse?
Yeah.
And jump off from
Yes, you can.
Orba, just and go over to Graven's horse and
I don't want to just kick those cup or something.
and just like
Yeah, you do so.
and since I'm just like a small, I just put my like hands up and
I mean, it's kind of kicking. It's still kind of trotting slowly in the opposite direction of where you guys were headed.
Okay.
can I try to grab the rein and
Sure, yeah, you can. You kind of still it a little bit. Yeah.
Is there like a wider path we could take around this?
It has kind of
area?
canyoning sides
Oh,
on
we
both
can't
sides.
really
Yeah, there is a decent amount of space to get around the corpse, but there are these kind of high walls that do limit your sort of lateral movement. To a point.
Yeah, can I also jump down and try to like hold it by the
can
reins
we
in the
try
face?
to lead it to like around like with my horse in between him
So the
and-
other two horses are definitely, now you've put some distance between them as Graven's moved the other way, but the two of you lead it. Give me, to the Graven, since it's your horse, with advantage, with Beezaura's help, give me another animal handling check. 18. So you start to move it with Beezaura's help, slowly back in the other direction. And 10 minutes have not passed, and you start to hear a little bit of chatter from up above. More food! More food! More! And they start to get a little lower, circling the vultures. A little slower, circling, like they
Do I
kind of-
see anything else that they're looking at, or are they looking at us?
They might be looking for the horses. They seem to see a lot of kind of
I'm gonna get back on the horse.
on Graven's horse.
No, mine.
You have not reached them yet. You're walking them back.
Safira?
I hope you don't mean me when you mean more food.
They keep saying food and more food.
Should we
they don't
just-
respond to that.
Can I? Where?
Maybe food.
Down there, food. And they circle a little lower too.
We should ride. Should we
Should
run
I
away?
look at where they're
I mean, yeah, they're descending around. I mean, you guys are not that far from the corpse. They are moving down in your direction-ish.
Ride. Should we just ride quickly
Yes.
away from them?
Listen, they're
Did
saying
Orba-
more food. I think we should ride quickly.
Go.
Get on with
Okay.
me, Beezaura.
I'm gonna get on with Graven.
Give me an acrobatics check as you hop up onto Orba's horse with her. Oh, you're getting on a Graven's horse.
I mean, yeah, if we
Because
were
we're not
Okay,
close
yes,
enough, right?
sure. Okay, then you don't need to. Yeah, the two of you hop up onto Graven's horse. Great. Graven kind of helps Beezaura pull up. Yep. And you guys are riding.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
And you guys continue to ride. And as you kind of pass by, you see the glint of the shield kind of in the mouth. And at that time, like they can sense you guys moving a little quicker now, and they start to kind of descend on the Boulette corpse to kind of protect it. And you can see a number of them like perching on its body, and they kind of look around, kind of making sure that you guys ride off, and they don't seem to chase you. Jesus Christ. You continue to ride through this area.
As we're riding,
Yes.
Useful.
is there anything else in the woods that I can talk to ask about this displacer beast?
It's not woods. Again, you're in kind of like
Like
a-
right in this
Yeah, I mean you have a little bit of
campground
time, but yeah, you don't see anything.
not
at the
lots,
moment. Yeah. And you guys continue to ride. Give me more survival checks for everybody.
Jeez Louise.
Okay. I'm
still rolling with advantage.
I'm not gonna give up. 16.
14.
4.
Dirty 20.
13.
Great.
Thank you.
I'll leave you on the
bad.
horse.
Yeah.
I'll leave you on the horse for 5 minutes and you can't.
The journey continues. And you reach an area of terrain that again looks pretty familiar to you. This seems like just after you passed through the last sip, that sort of lush area. You came down into this sort of canyon area. It's sort of an extension of the canyon you were in, but the corridors become a little narrower. Narrow canyons, steep walls, and kind of frustratingly uneven terrain on the upper ground, forcing you, if you're on horseback, to travel on the lower path, which is a little flatter, a little easier to move across. But this time, however, you notice something different about the ground. It's a little more foreboding than you'd like. Instead of a sandy or kind of pebble-ridden texture, it's solid stone. And there's these deep cracks, usually not more than just a couple of inches wide, but as if almost an earthquake or something kind of cracked the ground, and there's so these deep, like if you look down into it, it's just black. You can't see how deep it goes. These sort of deep earthen cracks that are scattered and spiderwebbed all throughout the canyon. And you spend some time looking for what might be the safest route, but the cracks are pretty much everywhere in these little canyons that move forward, so avoiding them would require a significant detour from the direction you're heading.
This is after the last sip or right
It was
before?
Now it's right before. This is theoretically when you were on your way to.
Yeah.
It happened right
Right
after the
after,
last
okay.
sip, yes. So you have the option to basically attempt to traverse the terrain or make a very significant loop around.
But the horses can do the loop around?
The horses can do either of those things. Yeah. As long as you're going through the sort of flat canyon area. And the cracks don't, like, you don't have to jump over the cracks. They're not that big.
Do these cracks look like anything to anyone?
They don't mean anything to anybody.
No, I mean, to me, they look like bad news. So,
Horse could break an ankle in there easily.
absolutely they could. And do you think, I mean, I know it would be a significant detour, but I'm not sure we continue down this path.
Well, if we all think it's safer to go around, let's just pick up the pace.
What's the, how late is it in the day now at this point?
At this point, it's probably late afternoon. I mean, you're also, just so you know, you've been so far traveling through terrain that you're more or less familiar with. Evading this area is literally going somewhere you have never been before, so that's also on the
It's also making camp possibly in an
Unknown
unidentified area.
So,
Is there any way we could... I remember when we came inwards, Jillian mentioned the possibility of walking around the last sip. It would take more time, but would perhaps be safer than walking through.
That's sort of what I'm referring to also.
Yeah.
If you're going around the last step, that's the significant detour that I'm
Yeah.
talking about, yeah.
So that would also avoid any danger that it may have gotten worse.
except for that, we don't know that route very well at all.
At least we can follow this sort of ridge. We won't get lost.
I'm worried about the horses going over this. I don't think we should go through here.
Okay.
If Jillian beats us to Mukmu, that's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, you're
No,
right.
it's not.
All right. Around then, yes.
Orba, do you want me to ride with you, Skin?
Whatever you prefer, I'm fine.
It's up to you.
I'll go back with Orba.
Awkward.
Well, I give Graven more space. He's a big guy.
It's because you didn't try and rescue her in the water. When you had a chance to grab one of them?
Oh,
Grab
shit.
me.
That was obvious.
So you guys are taking the long route. Yeah. Great. Give me survival checks with disadvantage, everybody except for Safira, who does it straight.
Disadvantage?
Yep, disadvantage.
Come on.
Is that
Now
count?
traveling through some
Oh,
terrain.
I got a natural 20.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
6.
I'll take it.
13. 14?
9.
14.
Give me those numbers again.
14.
9.
14.
13.
6.
Oof.
There's something. The force.
You guys take what appears to be kind of an alternate route, or following around, making sure that you avoid any of these deep cracks, any of the sort of terrain that looks treacherous to possibly your horses or even to you if you were to dismount. And you follow what you think to be kind of a ridge around what might have been the last sip as you travel forward. But after an hour or so, maybe 2 hours, you get the sense that you might be a little lost.
Yeah, well, listen.
Guys!
And you're moving around and you're trying to catch sight of anything that might be landmark, but a lot of the terrain kind of seemingly repeats itself. No particularly high peaks that you can kind of lock onto, no pieces of terrain that sort of for sure you know that you're following in that direction. And after a little while, you start to see piling up on the ground, once again, those sort of rock pillars. And you have a sense that, if not the exact same spot, you may have possibly wandered back toward a terrain that you've seen before. And you guys start to wander through there. And you see the first landmark that might have caught your attention, the Boulette corpse. You wander by it once more. However, this time, it's picked clean. The bones sort of, there's a few pieces of flesh sort of on it, and the birds have mostly dispersed. You don't see them kind of up above at this point. Just a little bit of the kind of skull and sort of less edible parts, the eyes and the jaws and the teeth of the creature sort of left.
And no shield?
No shield. And no spear.
More food.
We can get pretty close to it.
You
and
can now get
see
very
any-
close to it, yeah.
And there's no
More food
evidence
came
of...
back
Give me,
for his
give me an
life.
investigation check.
Investigation, you
It
say?
sucks.
That's not the one I wanted you to say. 9.
Nothing about it. You see a lot of little, like, three-pronged talon marks on the kind of sand and dirt and rock that look like they've come down a number of times to pick the corpse clean.
Are there any human footprints around?
Give me a investigation check as well. Are you dismounting to take a look around? It's a little harder on horseback to look.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll hop off real quick. If I saw Graven sort of go up to it,
You saw him go up to the corpse. You're kind of taking
Okay.
a wider look around.
Investigation.
Yep.
19.
19. You do see footsteps, humanoid footsteps, and big ones. Not like a giant sized, but like a large.
Like a Graven.
Yes.
You got a
maybe.
friend?
Or at least you don't know it's a Goliath.
Yeah.
It could just be a very large humanoid person. But yes, someone with a footprint that big. Yes.
Or a plant.
Or yeah.
Yes.
Something very large came through here. I'm seeing some footprints.
Where do they?
In the last 2 hours.
Do I see where they go?
Yeah, they're kind of heading in the direction that you originally came from. So back towards the rear and elves and all that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It is moving in the opposite direction, though.
The direction that we want to go.
No, the opposite
It's
direction.
heading
Where we came
opposite
from.
from where you want
Right.
to go.
Then let us continue
Let's
to
move
go.
quickly then.
Do we?
Do we go through the
Canyon
hard terrain?
or
Well, now we have hopefully a better idea of where we're going. We know where not to turn.
You
We've
can
gone
once
through it
again
once.
attempt to circumvent,
I don't know, Erland.
We've gone there once. We have
I think maybe
least-
we just take it slower through the terrain.
I
What if
really
we
don't
lose
think
a
the horse...
We
The horse gets spooked by anything and
Well,
we break
I
a
mean,
leg.
The amount of time it would take for us to get to McMove if we lost a horse and walked there, in comparison to the amount of time we have lost now.
To
and
even
will.
trying this 2 more times, I think, is less.
fine. We'll try again. But if we end up back here, it's
Yes, I
a
agree.
waste.
Let's all really pay attention.
This
Try to
time,
figure
as
it out.
we're riding around the I want to just like break some branches as we're going, just to.
there's no trees here. Remember,
Oh,
you're
it's
sort of
no
passing
trees?
through these kind of rock pillars.
we have chalk still, don't we? In our bag.
yes,
I
you
think
still
I
have-
still have chalk in my bag, which I could write on the stone with, surely, right?
You can
or
pick a
just
mark
break
on it.
off,
Yep.
break off pieces.
I'm not sure if I
as
still
we're like
have it.
riding.
Drop them
Of the rock?
of the chalk, like break off pieces of chalk and leave it on the ground instead of
gonna
getting off.
Go through chalk to that.
The pillars are pretty tall. You got on
Oh,
horseback.
the
you
pillars.
Could mark,
Oh,
yeah, on the rock.
I forgot
I'm
them.
not sure
Oh,
if I
I
still
got a piece of
have the chalk.
I got a piece of chalk.
Oh, you have chalk? I have lots of chalk. Do you need some chalk?
Or perhaps just make marks as we ride, so we know which direction
We
we've
don't
gone.
want to do this again. so-
Okay, I have a task.
Okay. Everybody, survival checks with disadvantage straight for Safira again. As you guys attempt
Come on,
once again.
Safira.
Oh, that's an
Fucking
natural one.
roll
I'm
up.
gonna roll again.
Fuck, God, gee, why? Why do I try?
I did good too.
What's the point of being a ranger?
I don't know.
Survival?
3.
I rolled a 1, but lucky, and then I rolled 2 more.
16.
17.
No.
Now that I know that I can do that.
6.
Guys!
Listen,
Ranger!
You're doing
know.
chalk stuff.
You guys get this terrain again that sort of blends into itself. Repeating sort of rock formations and ridges that are too high to be able to see and spot anything that sort of immediately catches your eye. And it doesn't take long this time, the route a little shorter, but you've lost perhaps an hour and a half, 2 hours, and you start to see chalk marks on the outlines of rocks as you loop back and pass around.
Can I tell at what point that chalk mark was? Like
What do you
early
mean?
on chalk mark, later on chalk mark?
You
It's hard to
can't
say.
tell that.
Chalk mark.
Chalk,
Counting
chalk mark.
infernal and like...
yeah.
If you mark them all the same, you can't tell that really.
Yep.
Well, we did it again. Do we try once more, or do we?
Are we back truly at the same place where we were? Or?
I mean, if you now at this point could probably work your way back to at least where that corpse used to be and be like, okay, we know where we are at that point.
Would having a bird's eye view assist us?
How much of a bird's eye view?
40 feet in the air?
Maybe a little bit. Some of the canyon walls are certainly higher than that, so...
Okay.
Do you want to give it one more go?
Is it almost dusk?
I mean, it's the sun is setting. It's like probably 6:30, so, you know.
Well, we cannot do it at nightfall, so it's either one more try, take a rest, or we go through.
Why not this time number the markings so that we at least know where we've lost our way?
Okay, I could try that.
And if we don't do it this evening, we'll try again in the morning. I'll figure out if we should go the other route.
Okay. Let's go.
Survival checks with disadvantage, except for Safira.
We did so good last time.
Oh my god.
Come on, guys!
Come on!
I am carrying this.
Unnatural 1.
18.
12.
17.
8.
That'd be enough together.
18, 12, and what?
17.
That's tasty, Matt.
Now with 2 paths,
Yes!
already having kind of been traveled, and knowing, like, okay, we went this way, didn't quite take us where we wanted. You're able to chart a route that kind of snakes through some uneven terrain that's difficult on horseback, but possible. I mean, the horses are moving slowly, and you're sort of working them as they kind of step lightly through some of the uneven rocks and stones. But you guys seem to be reasonably sure that you're headed in the correct direction. So you believe that you've sort of circumvented most of the last sip and the sort of cracked canyon area. And you guys continue to ride. Now getting very dark out at this point. 9, 10 o'clock as you guys ride through.
Need to keep a lookout for like outcroppings and little.
Sure, I'll say with the survival check sort of lumped in, you see a couple of sort of potential spots. There's a little more vegetation here, kind of sparse trees and things. There's a small kind of pocket of 3 or 4 trees that provides a little bit of coverage. You could also kind of make a little camp kind of next to one of the walls of one of these kind of narrow canyons that sort of is out of sight from most things as long as they're not right above you. What kind of terrain are you looking for? You see a couple options. You don't see like a true cave that you can like hide in. But there's also no paths here. I mean, this is like well off of any roads that the black lines are.
Before it gets much darker, should we just go up against the side of this cliff face? Or no, it's like
Yeah, there's something like canyon walls. I mean, it gets like wider sometimes, then narrower, kind of moves about. Yeah.
set watches and get back on the road again when it's light out.
Yes, if we start now, we can get going at the crack of dawn.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm afraid I only have 1 ration left. Does anybody else have any food?
No.
Great.
Like 99% sure the answer is no, but let's find out. Well,
Really?
No.
None of us
I have a
any
note
food.
here that says stolen by owlbear. Just take it out of your backpack, Zoe.
Well, in case you bump into that owlbear.
Yeah, you can be like, hey, do you still have that thing that I...
That's actually true. Now I can ask.
It's the
Okay.
lemonade vial, wasn't it? It's sort of food.
Well, do we split the ration? Something in our stomachs?
I'll pass. Everyone take a nibble if you want.
Can I take a second to see if there's anything around that I could hunt?
Give me a survival check, not with advantage because sort of in the dark of night and a terrain that's unfamiliar.
Oh my, of course now I rolled 21.
I mean, you see a little bit of small game, sort of squirrel-like creatures, rabbits, sort of moving throughout some of the sparse vegetation.
Okay, can I try to kill us one and cook us one?
Give me an attack roll.
I guess we should make a fire. huh?
Come on. 11 to hit.
11. It's a little bit off, and you fire it, and it kind of hears the sound of the arrow, and the rabbit kind of skips across.
I guess we can skip the fire. Never mind.
Are there any like berries or that kind of stuff?
Give me a survival check. With disadvantage, you can't see in the dark.
That's true. I didn't find any. 2.
Oh my gosh.
Nothing that you can find?
Maybe.
Is that it for the bunnies? So they're all kind of pissed off.
I mean, we'll say that she had maybe tried a couple times. We'll lump that into the same sort of.
Look, tomorrow morning when it's brighter out, first thing I can hunt us something. We can cook something in the light when it's less likely that someone sees the fire anyway. So then we can take off. Yeah.
That's fine.
Orba's gonna break off 5 pieces and give it to anybody.
A meager meal, but you guys sort of split it.
Alright, watches.
I'll take first watch again.
I'll do second.
Third worked well for me.
Very fourth.
Same order. Everybody roll at the same time. Give me a perception check.
Perception, right?
Just regular perception.
Yes.
Oh my guys.
Finally.
I did
day.
good too. This is a good check.
17.
8.
16?
19.
12.
Night passes uneventfully. You seem to be, you have a sense, given sort of the path that you've traveled, that you're a good bit off of any kind of beaten path, somewhere where someone might be traveling through.
Sick.
The terrain has slowed you significantly. You can tell why it's not sort of traveled through very much. It's slow moving. Horses are not easy to sort of get through this area. But because of that, you guys don't find any disturbances through the night. You each take your watch, and you wake up the following morning. Rested.
Don't forget, everybody gets your hit dice pretty much all back, too.
Yep.
Yep. And spells.
We've
Oh,
had
mine
two-
are all-
We've had 2 sleeps, so.
Yeah. Look at that.
And I believe
constant
Safira
language.
was slightly nicked there from her.
That was
Or did
no,
was that the night
before.
before?
Yeah.
I got my
You're supposed to talk to more
Oh, you
animals.
already
I can
had
talk
four.
to more animals.
I'm already full
I
up. I'm
could
ready to
have
go.
still done. I have
I'm at 0
Ready.
sepsis for the first time in
I'm
like
ready for
50
a fight.
episodes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Clean living. We'll put this as who wants to kind of go hunting in the morning. We'll put this into kind of, say some of the more experienced hunters.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give me survival checks and Safira with advantage.
Oh, thank God. Oh, it didn't help me at all.
Nin-
Oh my God! I
19.
just rolled a 3 and then a 2. So, 6.
We'll say that Graven's able to scrounge up some sort
I
of
don't know
small
why.
critters.
Why?
I mean, it's not much, and you get the sense
Oh,
that
shame.
given the meager meal last night and a little bit of sustenance here, by the end of this day, even though you're well rested, you might be exhausted, suffering exhaustion. Not now, but
Yeah.
unless you find something to eat, that might affect your ability to kind of...
While they were hunting, could I take anyone who wants to look for berries around or like
Yeah,
fruits and
no berries.
No
or
berries.
anything. Yeah.
No fruits.
This
No
is a
good berries?
Blueberry Canyon.
Alright. Continuing on.
Get going.
If we do find that, what's it called?
Displacer beast.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat it.
You can eat everything but the head, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, sounds good to me.
Okay.
You guys horse up. Everybody's stomach's growling a little bit as you set off.
Can I hop up on a horse with Orba?
You can.
I'm on the horse.
So then, wait,
I mean-
hang on, because then...
We'll say Erland goes to get on it. Are you stopping him from getting on
Why the sudden change?
Rode all day with Safira.
Yeah, I must be a real nightmare.
There's my answer.
So you're gonna go sit on a horse with 3 people?
No, I was gonna ride with the Tiefling. Why is this a dramatic event?
Why
Let's
does
ride.
it matter?
I don't. I'm
Everything's
sitting
been
on the
working
horse
out
with the
fine.
Tiefling. Why are we having an argument
You're
about
getting
this?
ready to walk, is
it?
what
Runs a
you're
little
doing.
snippy because they haven't eaten in a while.
I have already. Did you physically stop me? I guess.
Yes.
Can I try and push through it and just hop up
Give
on
me
the
an
horse?
athletics check and contest it.
You
What do I do? Just
guys.
roll?
Just athletics check. You're
I
I like
contesting
you
this.
both.
What's in it?
Wait. Why?
Graven's gonna look over at Orba and just be like,
Ah.
look at that.
19.
If you want to just get
wins.
off of that one.
Erland pushes Beezaura aside and hops up.
No, I don't want to like push her hard, but like just to deflect
Well, you
it.
have to
like,
push her.
yeah.
She physically tried to stop you,
Okay,
so
then
you
yeah, I swipe the
had
hand
to,
away
yeah.
and I hop up on the horse.
Orba, I don't.
And
My
I kind
time
of
of
extend
us.
my hand off the horse to help
Thank
her.
you, Safira.
And
For some reason, Erland just needs to ride with
Yeah,
Orba.
in a very passive aggressive
She
way. I make sure
attacked
she's
me!
secure on the horse.
Why is she attacked?
Can we get moving now? Are you
Yeah.
comfortable,
Right.
Erland?
Survival checks for everyone.
This might be the most of a single check.
14.
I'm surviving my.
Me too.
Oh, I didn't roll with advantage. Can I roll
14.
this one with
You roll
advantage? Right.
with
That's
Not bad, not bad.
Oh, thank God.
21. Okay, fine.
Dirty 20.
21.
22.
18.
Oh my god, we're so
Wow. Oh, well.
We're surviving.
We're finally learning
You
how
let
to
the
survive.
frustration and anger fuel you.
Who needs food when you have
when you
friends?
have anger.
I have
You guys
enemies.
press forward. A little bit of not only the sort of hunger seeping in, but the sort of frustration of the time through the mountains. You can already sense that even though you're right, it wouldn't be the worst thing if Jillian got there ahead of you, this sort of unknown terrain, the uncertainty of it puts you a little on edge. You're a little sort of heightened, a little sort of prickly as you continue to move through the mountains. And a couple hours go by uneventfully, sometime. Slowly but surely, the guiding hand of Safira's experience in the mountains, making note of natural landmarks, keeping out of sight when possible, checking to be sure that the group's not being followed.
Oh, can I have my plant out for sunshine?
You can? Yeah. Take it.
As she sort of takes out the plant, can I fairly quietly say, did the Goliath pass along the smooth stone?
No. He has it?
You asked me to give you the smooth stone.
Yes, and you didn't.
I gave it to the Goliath to pass on to you because we were being separated.
Nope.
Did you find a copy of the book?
Nope.
No, neither
But
did
I found answers.
All right. We should get that smooth stone back from the Goliath.
Yes, okay. I'm sure he just forgot about it. There was a lot on his mind.
No, I'm not.
I do remember him giving
Yes.
that.
I
Yeah.
wanted to make.
Before you jump down the
You
tree.
asked me to.
Yes.
I'm not accusing the Goliath.
No.
Everyone's very,
I
very
didn't
tense.
say anything.
Not
Thank
a-
you for the thought, but I didn't receive it.
All right, so we should just make sure we get that back in case we come across the book.
Yes. Yes.
And you guys run on.
Ooh.
Just gonna keep holding my plant.
Graven's like tossing it up in the air as he runs.
I forgot I had
What
this.
was this
nick-
for?
Remember,
This doodad that I found.
Biting on it. Like,
it's not. That's not it. No.
It's a pumice stone for some Beezaura to clean herself.
Doesn't feel right either.
it's the pumice stone.
Yeah, just grab it. Nothing's gonna happen.
And at this point, a couple hours having passed, you find yourself in a terrain that you know based on sort of how far you kind of detoured and moved around, it isn't the Calluses, but a very kind of mesa-like atmosphere. The hills kind of slope up and they flatten out. There's kind of a wide kind of outstretching, rocky, outcropping kind of look to it. And knowing what you've kind of heard about the fighting and the heightened activity at the Calluses and in the mesas, you just kind of, everyone's guards go up just a little bit, sort of making sure that anyone passing through this area might look like a black lion, or possibly a Radiran elf, or a Lakafuyu, anyone that might fit that description. And even with this sort of watchful eye, you do know that deep down any moment it's possible that a small company of black lions might approach you. So for that reason, everybody very slowly taking their time with the horses. And as you keep to some of the higher elevations, I mentioned that they kind of slope upwards and then flatten out. You guys do your best to kind of keep to the high ground so you aren't sort of ambushed or seen by anyone that you don't want to be. And you start to spot something in the distance.
Yeah.
Though it is of some relief that this life that you see, humanoid creature, is almost certainly not a black lion. They really don't fit that description. None of the telltale markings, clothing, anything of that kind. And in addition, this sort of higher vantage point allows you to see that you're fairly sure that the scouting is not mutual. This creature has not seen you back at this point. It does not appear to be facing you. You get a good look at it kind of off in the distance. And it's a single humanoid creature, very large in size. Skin of a dark gray color. And it has a rope slung over its shoulder, and then behind it, the rope attaches to like a sled that looks like it would normally be like pulled by a horse. It's like a couple of rails, but he's pulling it, and you can see the sweat like glistening and pouring off of his bald head as he kind of... And you can see the sled kind of moving as he continues to pull it. And the only other thing that you can see on him is a couple. He has like a bandolier, like a leather bandolier that goes from shoulder to hip, and attached to the back of it through 2 loops is a huge great axe that looks like you could sort of unhitch it. A large 2-handed weapon. And he's heading in the opposite direction, well, sort of the same direction you're headed, but he's facing away from you guys. And he's moving significantly slower than you are, even at sort of a leisurely trotting pace.
Does it
Graven's the first one to see it?
Does it look like a Goliath?
Yes.
Cool. Maybe I should try to reach out to this one first.
Graven?
Do you recognize him?
I don't know.
You definitely can't see the face from here. It's pretty far, and he's facing the other way.
Do you want us to stay
Just-
fully back?
Not too far, but stay back a bit, yes.
Do you not want him to see us, or
I'm interested in why he's out here, aren't you?
no? Sure, but what I'm saying is maybe you want to approach him when he doesn't know we're here. Maybe we should hide.
Is there a place to hide?
I mean,
here,
you could,
or-
because it kind of slopes up, flattens
Oh.
out, so they could go behind like a slope. I mean, they could get out of sight by the and again, he's a good ways off enough that even a little bit of cover would, I mean, yes, I will have said that's possible to get completely out of sight.
All right. Yes. Stay out of sight.
And then perhaps shine. You've called light from the sky before.
They wouldn't see. I'd have to attack something to do sacred flame.
It has to have a target, yes. I mean, you could light something and throw it up, but
Right.
yes, you could use it.
We can hide.
If you see a red light, or if you hear a shout for Benji, yes, that's.
I'm not eager to leave you out of my sight.
Because what happened last time. Would you like to come with me?
Okay.
All right.
Hang on. Are you sure that's a good
Not
idea?
now.
Not now. What do you
Safira,
mean not now?
Just let him go.
No. Why are you dragging her up there?
He does have a very large axe.
I'll be okay. I'll be okay.
2 of us will be fine.
Goliath.
Are you going on your horse?
Goliath. Anything at all.
Anything you will hear or see, I promise.
Okay, so Safira gives him a look and she's gonna
luck.
get her because that.
She says a lot with
Yeah.
She, yeah.
She tells me in buzzard to not.
She just
Got it.
screams
It's worth it casting a spell just to do that.
She's getting her bow out and notched and keeping it right,
Oh.
You can have it out. I mean, are you hiding like you
Yeah,
said
I'm
you were
gonna
do?
hide,
Okay.
but I'm gonna have it ready so that I'm readying an action so that I could easily stand up and fire if that's possible.
On his
On-
light or something.
on-
Sure.
yeah.
Upon seeing that.
Sure.
So, come up on my horse with me.
Okay.
I'll shimmy up on them.
And
Slides over.
I may speak in giant, at least to begin with.
Should I?
Would you like to
Do you mind?
go ahead?
Okay, I'll cast it with a spell slot.
Okay.
Slowly.
Now, as you approach, this is kind of a sort of a soft clay ground. The horse, it's not clopping like it would on a true stone surface. But the horse makes a little bit of noise. Are you approaching slowly in attempt to not,
No, not quietly, just
Okay.
leisurely.
Okay, great.
Leisurely.
Give me a perception check as you approach.
6.
So the only thing you can see as you kind of approach, and he's still a little bit ways off, and he continues to pull this sled, and you can see the strain. He kind of loosens as he rears up, and then he pulls it forward. You can see whatever he has on this sled is significant weight. And there is kind of loosely tied, but you can't see what's under it, a little tarp over something that's on the sled. You can't actually see what's on it. But you do see some flies and things kind of around it, possibly indicating that what's under the tarp is, was alive at some point. How close do you get?
How close are we now?
We'll say 150 feet.
Okay. He would hear me if I shouted.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's get 100 feet.
Okay. Still not close enough. I mean, you can tell as you get closer that the sound of him pulling it makes like a sound on the clay.
Mm-hmm.
That's loud enough to cover like a slow approach. So he doesn't hear you at 100 feet.
Okay.
Do you get closer? Do you say something?
I'm just gonna lean back and like squeeze Orba's leg. In giant. Friend, who goes there?
And he stops. And he straightens up. And he lets the rope kind of fall out of his hand. And he turns. And he sees you there on the horse. You don't recognize him. Kind of has greenish eyes. And he kind of has... Giants age in a way that it's difficult past a certain age to judge their age, but he does seem older, but still like in good strength. I mean, he seems very, very capable. You can see some of the sort of wrinkles in his skin, and he looks at you, and he straightens up a little bit, and at his full height, now a little bit closer, this is a big Goliath. I mean, he must be pushing 8 feet tall, standing there. Sort of in under the sun. You can see a little bit of the sun sort of glistening off the sweat off his forehead. And he reaches back and takes the great axe off his back.
We wish you no harm.
And he takes it by the handle. He doesn't like flip it around like in an attack position.
Yeah.
He takes it by the handle and he plants it on the ground, like blade down into the clay or the dirt.
We're just traveling through.
Go.
Where are you headed?
And he takes the axe and he holds it in 2 hands. This one's mine.
You are welcome to it, whatever it is.
Then do not approach.
Where did you come from?
Go! Puny Southland Goliath.
I'm gonna cast Hold Person on him.
Graven!
Yikes.
Wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom saving throw.
No.
12.
He fails. Up to 1 minute. Target must receive or paralyzed for up to 1 minute.
Paralyzed, right? You see him.
I'm gonna whip the horse up and get close.
Sure,
close.
you do so?
Yep.
I'm not sure.
I'm gonna try to take the great axe from him.
It's still gripped into his hand, so even though, I mean, I'll let you try, you'd have to really pry it from his, it wouldn't just be like, I can slip it out of his paralyzed hand, because he's gripping it.
Okay. Alright.
You have one thing to do, because he gets to repeat the save on every turn.
6 seconds?
Which would be 6 seconds. So we'll say you can do something right now before he has a chance to repeat the save.
Really quick peek under the sheet to see what's in there.
Sheet?
Yeah.
Great. Give me a perception check as you peek underneath the sheet.
And as I'm doing this, I'm saying to him still in giant, we truly wish you no harm. We were passing through.
I'm so sorry. I really love you. I'm sorry.
Perception is 21.
21. You take a quick peek as soon as you kind of have an opportunity to, and you see black fur and big fangs and limp tentacles curled up in a little ball at the sort of base of this sled.
How are you gonna take
He's gonna repeat
it?
his throw here. 9. You've got another 6 seconds.
Oh my god.
That's our money.
I'm gonna really quick try for the axe.
Okay, give me a athletics check. He's gonna
Athletics check.
Can you lift up that thing?
8.
21.
Oh my god, he's
So
a
it's-
strong boy.
Yeah, so I mean, you go for it, but you can see that when he was paralyzed, he just kind of like tightened his grip on it, and like you just can't wriggle it free from him. I mean, he's gonna make another save.
What does he have on him else? Does
Natural 1. He stays
Oh my
paralyzed
God.
for 6 seconds. You don't see anything on
He
him.
literally is like, does he have a shirt on, tunic on, or is he
He is shirtless.
He's
Yep.
shirtless. I don't see any
There is
scars.
some kind of tattooing. Give me a we'll say a wisdom check.
Wisdom check. Are you? She's still probably on the horse. Like
She
I rode
is.
up and
I
jumped
assume you
off.
ran
She's
off
just
to it,
sitting
yeah.
Sorry, you
So
assume
you
that
rode up and then jumped off the
Yes,
horse.
okay,
yes.
yes.
So she's
Sorry, just a straight up wisdom check.
Yep.
Dude, the die is like sticking to my hand. I'm so sweaty right now.
I know.
Wisdom check. 8.
8. The tattooing, you don't know what it is, but you know enough that it's not of any of the tribes that you're familiar with. So it's probably not a Goliath that comes from like the Wixom Mountains or any of the tribes that you're familiar with. So you know that he's not of your kin or close relation, but you don't know that specific.
Okay. The beast. It
What
looks
is
like
the duration of hold person?
up to 1 minute.
Up to 1 minute? Okay. He's gonna do another one here. That's a 19.
Okay.
And
I'm running to the horse.
you're running to the horse.
Yeah.
Oh no!
He's gonna run after you, and that's where we're gonna end for the evening.
What have you done?
What have you done?
Oh my! You took Orba with you.
I made it
Up to a Goliath with an axe the size of her, and then you decided to attack him? How did you noobs? You are in so much trouble. You guys are both in so much trouble.
Sorry.
You were gonna get myconid extract? What? For Daldoon? No!
Is where we will end for this evening. Pick it up
my God.
on next week's episode of A Peek Beneath the Veil.
So much trouble.
No, Orba's, you're never gonna let me go near a Goliath ever again.
Oh.
You're angry
What have
a
you
9-foot
done?
big old guy.
One little insult spell.
Stop.
Where he's like, I'm gonna take
You're like,
you down.
puny
Oh
giant.
my God.
How puny am I now? Oh, it's still puny? You're
Jeez.
I mean, I could probably turn around and cast it again. I don't know. We'll
Sticks
see.
and stones, buddy. Come on.
So we'll pick it up hot and spicy in the next week.
Yep.
and
Thank you all for joining us, as always.
Oh,
What a
yeah.
cliffhanger. Wow.
indeed.
Yes, we will. We'll revisit the. You guys have made pretty good progress through the mountains. I mean, it's taken a little more time than your original pass through, as Jillian led you through. However, you've avoided some of the sort of dangers and pitfalls of the Shocky Mountains, which are plentiful. And that is where we will.
Oh my
pick it up
goodness.
next time.
Yeah, a lot of new people in chat tonight.
Oh,
Welcome
awesome.
to the
Cool.
show. Thanks for stopping by.
Welcome. You got to end on a high note there.
Wow.
A high note?
Why do
Is that a high note?
I
You know what he's doing, right?
Personally.
He's got like a fucking fishing pole, and he's.
I know, and you
I know, and we
took
all
the bait.
avoided it. She didn't take the
You just
shield.
bit it. That's true, yeah. Listen.
It was Safira wanted that shield though. She was like,
I did.
whoa.
My AC is 14,
My armor
you
already
assholes.
weighs
I need
too
a
much.
shield.
I have too much going on in my backpack.
You need some discipline in your lives.
But the moral of the story of tonight, though, is that I can talk to Bert Walters.
Correct.
That is cool.
See, everyone laughed at you, but who's laughing now?
I was laughing now.
It
guys.
worked.
It did.
What are we gonna do?
It's gonna be fine.
He is a big
It's just one guy.
Truly
It's
talented.
just one guy.
Yeah, with a huge ass. Ass.
He might have a huge ass also.
He definitely has a huge ass. He definitely has a huge
Logically,
ass.
he probably does also have a big ass.
Yeah.
He's got our beast.
So,
I know.
so what?
All of a sudden, don't care about that beast.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
don't
care
even
about
get
it
me
so
started
much.
with that.
Well, at
crap.
this point,
Until
we
it was
have
guarded
to,
by a bigger person.
we have to kill this guy or run from him.
He's just a filthy
At this
modern
point,
Goliath.
yes.
He's a piece of shit.
Either it's a total party kill or this fucking Goliath dies.
Let me
is
put it this
where
way:
we
I
are
am
now.
more scared of that Goliath than I am of Skid Skier.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
I mean, 5 against one of him.
Yeah, I mean,
He's
hopefully he's huge, but
We've gone against monsters that are really big.
Beezaura's like, I don't give a fuck.
What was that? 400 gold for the beast?
Also, how far?
Does it matter if I'm dead?
We will continue to have
We're
why did you
200
try
feet
to jump
from
on its
them.
head and just
need 6 seconds to chop off the head of the displacer
Yeah,
beast?
dude.
But also,
I have a mace. I don't have a knife.
That's true.
Yeah. Gong. I'm fucking up your shit.
Try turning this in, idiot.
Take the beast's head over to his axe.
Just destroy it. He's like, what?
that's actually kind of funny. You guys are 200 feet away from us.
Yeah, we had a signal instead of using the signal he cast hold.
Because whole person
Orba's
ran
gonna
away.
get 5. This is awful.
You just need to start yelling Benji, and then we'll
I
just
should have
come
gotten
at
cure
full-
wounds
I'll just turn
for the
around and
level
cast it
up
again
because
and we'll-
apparently none of us are responsible.
Fine.
All right. With that,
this can
the
happen.
argument will continue off camera. But thank you guys so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Come back next time. Check it out. We'll continue our journey through the Shaki Mountains towards Mukmu, or the general direction of Mukmu. Who
Or the
knows where
grave.
what we'll ultimately end up in.
That, for sure.
Wow, thanks.
And come tune back in to watch Safira talk to more animals. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Oh my
I just felt so